Wait, wait. Kirby, Kirby, you are not coming through at all on the stream.
It's not set as default for some reason. That should be working now. Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Yep, I'm hearing you.
Alright. And it's sounding good? Good.
You're a little quieter than us, but
Alright. We'll see how that works.
okay.
I might be able to tone that down actually. We'll try that for now. Hopefully that works fine.
Yep.
I also wasn't speaking directly into the mic. I was turned away, but this should help.
Fair.
Hopefully this
now
is
I'm
good.
gonna turn my audio down so it doesn't echo into my mic.
This is still technical difficulties, everyone. It's fine. We're setting things up on the new computer. It's
two
fine.
of us on a new computer.
This is true. All right, that should be good.
So my brother.
Look at what you started, Curb.
Listen. My brother was already wanting a new graphics card. He was giving me the hand-me-down. He fucked my computer up, and so he just gave me his entire old computer, but moved my hard drives over.
Also, listen here, Min. If you want a hunting buddy in Wilds, I needed something that could run the fucking game. All right.
And now we both have something that can run the game.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the game ends sometime tomorrow.
Yeah, and then reopens in like 12 days. Game launches officially in like 2 weeks. We're fucking ready.
Yes. I need to still buy the game.
You should do that at some point. I get the feeling Min and I are probably just gonna go fucking ham on our own, but I'd be down to do some do the Thursday shit again at some point.
Yeah.
Although I'm probably not gonna be convincing anyone to postpone the Pokemon stuff for the time being. That might be after the Pokemon stuff.
There's no might about that, Curb.
Yeah.
It's already been postponed enough by Eddie's work schedule and your computer upgrades.
God, it took me fucking 9 hours to upgrade my computer.
Yeah, welcome to adult Legos. Just be glad that it didn't catch on fire.
Look, man. Everything was working, and then one thing happened that, like, made me so scared, and I figured it out, but, the network adapter was not updating for some reason, and then I turned some stuff off, and now it's working, and I'm not gonna mess with it anymore. So we're just gonna hope it doesn't act up again in the future.
Just the full-on meme of like, look, the code finally works. Great. Don't fucking touch it ever again.
Fucking... There's that other one of like... Yeah, no, the code... It doesn't work, but hey, it's now doing something different, so now we know what not to do. Like, we got it to work, but now there's like 20... So that's the first of 27 other bugs we need to iron out.
Computer.
Anyway.
Computer upgrades at their finest. Anyways, Sai, are you ready to start?
Yeah, for the most part.
You ready to stay the night?
Brave shine.
Reaching up together, we can stay on. Anyway, I'm gonna shut the fuck up and let
Chat, help
Rin.
me. I'm surrounded by weebs.
And after breakfast, I lay out my plans for the day.
to school.
Yes. Do you have a problem with that, Archer?
It's not a problem, but
Up. Advanced. There we go. Sound.
settings.
I'll bump that up a little bit. There we go.
Archer looks reluctant, but doesn't protest. After spending a whole day with me, he probably understands now that Rin Tosaka doesn't go back on her word once she's made up her mind. I can sense his disagreement even if he doesn't voice it, but I've also learned that Archer has a sincere side behind all that sarcasm. He won't whine about a decision he's accepted. Yep, he's loyal and awkward like that. That's what my intuition says, at least, after watching him yesterday.
Rin, now that you're a master, you need to always be wary of how to be masters. If you're ambushed at school, it'll be difficult to protect you.
Not necessarily. Besides, listen to me, Archer. I don't intend to alter my lifestyle just because of this. Besides, masters fight out of public view, don't they? I don't think anyone would try to sneak up on me in front of everyone at school.
If that's your choice, then I'll follow along. But at least let me stand guard in spirit form. Surely you don't intend to go there without me.
Of course not. You'll stay with me whenever I'm outside. Not just at school. That's a servant's job. So I'm counting on you.
I'm glad to hear it. A knight has a duty to repay the Lord's trust. You won't be disappointed. Still, hypothetically speaking, what would you do if the enemy was in a place you thought safe?
Are we supposing that there's a master at the school?
Yes. Well, it's hard for anyone who isn't a student or teacher to enter. It could spell trouble if a master has already infiltrated.
A master at school.
I had an answer even.
Don't think that's likely. The Tosaka are the only functioning mage family left in this town. The other one's gone belly up, so they won't produce any masters.
How do you know?
Hey, if there's any other mage families in Fuyuki besides the Tosaka, you can bet I've looked into them already. He isn't a master. As the heir to that family, he can't wield the strength to become one. We can safely ignore them.
I see. So there is another mage at your school, but they lack the magical energy to be a master.
That's right. Most of the other masters will be coming from the outside. They won't even be at my school.
For now, perhaps. But there are exceptions to every rule. What will you do if you encounter an unknown mage at school?
There are exceptions to every rule is the biggest rule in the Fate franchise. Reen?
Right. I'm telling you, it won't happen. Mages are sensitive to each other. I spent a whole year at that campus, so I'd be able to sense any mage no matter how hard they try to hide. I'm certain that there are only 2 mages at school. Me and that Proby without enough power to be a master. Get it now? You're just being paranoid. The scenario you're imagining won't happen.
This scenario is absolutely going to happen, isn't it?
What?
More than once!
What? What do you mean?
Thus why I said hypothetical. But the unexpected has a way of happening. Sometimes, destiny decides to make the impossible come about. If we find ourselves in such a situation, I hope you remember not to take it out on me.
Ash chuckles dryly. His smug attitude already makes me want to do exactly that. But I'll be late for school if I let him keep pushing my buttons. Look, it won't happen. It's a what if. Because it would never happen in the first place. And if it does, it would just mean that I was too naive.
I'll remember you said that. Let's get going then. Also, friendly reminder to the streamer that we can see your Steam alerts right now.
You can. This regular stream can't. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
It takes 30 minutes to get to your school, so you'd better leave soon if you want to be on time.
Don't worry. I checked when it popped up on the on OBS. We're good.
I am legitimately shocked. It really did happen.
I'm surprised as well. Really does pay to be a pessimist.
It's you.
This is our exchange the moment we pass through the front gate. It's almost time for homeroom, so there are students on their way to class. All around us. Archer and I stand still like a pillar amidst the swirling human sea. The air isn't just stagnant. Someone set up a bounded field, don't you think?
Min.
It isn't finished, but yes, prep work is already underway. I must think they're a big shot to go about it this openly.
A big shot.
Big shot? More an unbelievable amateur. Only a third-rate mage would make such a conspicuous field. Someone with actual skills would conceal it until it was time to strike.
And how would you rate this mage?
Who knows? I couldn't care less. More importantly, trying such shoddy work in my territory is going to earn them a beating. I let out an indignant huff as I crossed through the grounds. As a mage, there's no sugarcoating it. I won't be satisfied until whoever made this bounded field gets what's coming to them. I'm on my way back from the music room after second period. I spot a first year floundering in the hallway. She looks like she could use a hand with the large stack of documents she's carrying. Let me help, Sakura.
Huh? Tosaka.
Printouts? Our class is supposed to take care of world history. What is that Kuzuki thinking making you carry all of these? Here, I'll take some.
Thank you.
It's fine. Are we taking these to your classroom?
No. To Mr. Kuzuki. He said he needs to take them back because there's a typo.
I can believe that. Kuzuki's got such a huge stick up his butt. He once suspended an entire exam over a single typo.
Hmm? You made an exam here at the school?
Yeah, it was during midterms last year. It was near the end when everyone's answer sheets were already filled. He just came out and said there's a typo, the questions are incorrect, the exam suspended, and we'll redo it tomorrow. The teachers were all as surprised as we were, and people still talk about it.
That does sound like Mr. Kuzuki. He is the type of person who believes teachers shouldn't make any mistakes.
But he goes overboard. You'd better learn while you can that once Kuzuki's got his mind set on something, he's as hard to move as a mountain.
You must like him. It's unusual to hear you talk about someone like that.
Is it? I do wish he'd just relax. Though he's alright just the way he is, ultimately. The faculty at our school is made up of both really nice teachers and some really scary ones. It's a delicate balance that Mr. Kuzuki is an important part of. He's the stick to the carrot. That was fast. You'll see more of him next year, since he teaches ethics. Oh, right, Sakura, there's something I wanted to ask you.
What is it?
It's about yesterday. Were you talking to a foreigner?
You saw that?
I just happened to. What's going on? Is he someone you know?
No, I don't really know who he was. It sounded like he was lost. He asked a lot of questions, but I couldn't really understand what he was saying.
Rin.
Sorry, I'm kind of distracted by food coming in.
You're all
Fuck
good.
you.
You're good.
What kind of food?
Noodles. Mac and cheese.
Noodles?
Noodles, get out of
No.
here.
No,
No.
you get out of here, you fucking war criminal.
I'm wanted in 17 states.
You're not allowed in this game.
You wish you could banish me.
I mean, technically I can, but I don't want to mess with the stream at this point.
That's very true.
Yeah. Anyway.
Interesting. Is this even my order?
I don't know what is
Hang on.
it. What did you order?
I mean, she already said noodles.
Stop that.
Well, it depends on what she ordered from Noodles. Like, is she just like basic bitch and got the regular mac and cheese?
No, I did get some
No!
extra stuff
The
on it.
souls of the innocent.
Okay, I was just sent a
know.
picture of a shirt that said
That's-
God's drunkest driver. I'm so sorry, Martha, December 19th.
Oh. How do you know that name?
I don't know what the hell this is, but I'm gonna try it anyway. Anyway,
How do you know that name?
I see. Sorry, I was just curious.
No, I don't mind. Oh, it's just in here. I can get the rest now.
Okay, see you later then.
Rattle the cages.
I returned the printouts to Sakura. But before I head back to my classroom, I find myself stopping. How are you lately, Sakura?
I'm okay. I'm doing well.
I see. Let me know if Shinji's up to something. He doesn't know when to quit, so it'll just get worse if you keep quiet.
You don't have to worry. He's been nice lately.
Hmm.
There isn't much I can say to a smile like that. We say our farewells and leave my underclassman acquaintance. What the hell is this even?
It's Noodles.
No, there's some kind of crumbly crumb thingy in there that doesn't taste quite like bread, but it's
Like tempura
know.
kind of
Hold
stuff.
on.
Well, what did you like specifically order?
Not what she's eating.
Is it like the kind of
Might
stuff they
be-
put on sushi? Like those kind of...
nah. Wait. This is especially weird. I didn't get any meats because that cost too much.
Understandable.
But I don't see the jalapenos. This might have something to do with that.
Interesting.
Anyway.
I know the barbecue chicken mac and cheese does come with jalapeno crisp by default, so
That might be what it is.
Mhm.
The school day is over. The classroom's steadily empty, and the campus darkens by the hour. The crimson sun will set soon. Once night falls, there won't be anyone left around. Let's begin, Archer. First, we'll investigate the bounded field. Once we determine what type it is, we'll decide whether to erase it or leave it. I speak to my invisible partner. I feel him nod in acknowledgement. Bounded fields are meant to protect their casters. You can consider them a terrain-based magecraft formed by weaving magical energy into a net and applying it to the earth to affect the inside of the field. There are countless types of effects they can have, ranging from wards that isolate an area from the outside world to avoid detection, to fields that limit the type of magecraft that can be activated within. The most offensive type suppresses biological functions inside the area of effect. And that's what's been applied to the school grounds. While it isn't finished, everyone in the school will collapse once it's activated. Something like that wouldn't work on me, though. Bounded fields are, after all, targeted at the area I'm in, not me specifically. Such indirect magical interference won't affect a mage with magical energy flowing through her body. Similarly, the electrical charges that flow in the atmosphere won't disturb the electrical currents within my body. That means the bounded field has some other purpose. Whoever it is that put this thing here isn't trying to defeat a master within it. I don't want to believe it, but they're targeting all the people within the school. There's only one possible reason for that. It's a thought I can't stomach. After checking all around the campus, I finished my search on the roof. It's thoroughly dark outside now. The school gates shut at 6 p.m., and it's now 8 p.m. Archer and I are the only ones left, and Archer's in his spirit form. That makes the 7th one. Looks like this is the origin point. There are 8 symbols boldly drawn on the rooftop. They're purplish-red marks that only a mage can see. I've never seen or heard of sigils like these. Well, they've got me there. I don't know what to do about this. Whoever set up this bounded field did it recklessly. While imprudent, the magical working... What?
Yeah.
The magical working itself is an order of magnitude beyond my own scales. Took me a moment. I could temporarily erase the energy of the curse, but I have no way to dispel the bounded field itself. All the spellcaster needs to do is supply it with more energy to reactivate the curse's effects. Archer doesn't comment. He's probably remained silent since encountering the rooftop sigils because he, too, has realized their nature. This bounded field does more than drain its victim's stamina. It will literally melt everyone inside once it's turned on. There are bounded fields which rob victims of their life force and spiritual energy. But the spell that's been applied to the school grounds is on a whole different level. This is no less than a Soul Eater. Soul Eater? A blood fort which melts the human bodies inside it and forcibly collects the souls that ooze out.
The fuck is this code vein bullshit going on right now?
Oh, this is Blood Fort Andromeda. I mean, what?
Since antiquity, souls have always been difficult to handle. They are theorized to exist and are considered to be necessary components of magecraft, but only one mage has ever proven their existence. Our definition of souls stops at that which examines within and that which is transferred between vessels. To not only extract souls, but then capture them in one place, it defies comprehension. What's a mage supposed to do with a bunch of energy we can't even convert? So if I had to think of a purpose for it... Archer? Is that what you and your kind are? It comes out colder as I intended.
You surmise correctly. I did say that we are fundamentally spiritual beings. That means we feed on the second and third factors, the soul and the mind. Just as you sustain yourselves with the flesh of creatures, we servants derive nutrition from the mind and soul. While said nutrition doesn't change our base abilities, acquiring more of it does make us more durable. It increases our reserve of magical energy, in other words.
Hang on.
What shall I hang on to?
I fucking hate sneezes that just almost happen but don't.
Torment the girl.
He's right. The way to make your own servant stronger is to indiscriminately attack human beings.
The gif of the dog just constantly building a sneeze.
Oh my gosh, yep, that's me, that's me.
Just the fucking golden retriever.
So your own master's magical energy isn't enough?
It's sufficient, but it never hurts to have more. In war, some weaknesses can be compensated with material when one is lacking in fighting strength. It's a basic strategy for a master to take energy from the humans around them. In that sense, this bounded field is an efficient tactic.
Archer's saying that I should murder people and take their power if I want to win. It's so simple. I've always known this to be true, and I know it's the path I'm supposed to walk. That really teased me off. Don't ever bring it up again, Archer.
The fuck says that? Who says that? That really teased me off.
The localizers of this game.
What is this writing?
A teenager Japanese man in his garage?
No, that
tracks.
Definitely tracks, yeah. Staring at the sigils, I make my stance clear. Oddly, Archer sounds just as put off.
I agree. I'd never do such a thing.
His answer comes firm and resolute. Time to erase this then. It won't do much good, but I can at least slow it down. I approach the sigil and extend my left hand.
And in my right, a Bud Light.
I'm sorry.
The cold one in the right.
Yeah.
Oh my
I'm sorry.
word. The magic crest engraved on my arm is like a grimoire passed down through the Tosaka line. A mental switch is flicked. I pass magical energy through the magic crest, load a verse of bounded field erasure, take a deep breath, and activate it. Abzug. Bedyan Nung. Mittelstand. I then send a pulse of magical energy via my left hand. That should wash away the sigil for now.
Lancer, yeah? Is this Eddie?
What, you're gonna erase it? Man, what a waste.
Suddenly, a third voice chimes in while I'm casting the spell. I whirl around. Mario!
Hi there.
A man is perched on top of the water tower, some 10 meters above, looking down at me. He's clad in a deep blue that blends into the night. His mouth is drawn into a grin, and he has a bestial air around him. The beast's gaze is sharp and clear. In this bizarre situation, the man in blue watches me as if he's greeting a friend he hasn't seen in a decade. Did you do this?
Nah, It's a mage's job to play little tricks. We just fight whomever we're ordered to. Isn't that right, mate?
His tone is lethal yet carefree. This man can see Archer. You're a servant!
That I am. And if you know that last, you must be my enemy.
My spine tenses. The man's voice is detached and nonchalant, but it's colder than anyone I've ever heard. So scary it's nauseating. What's the best move here? I don't know. But my brain is still working enough to tell me that I absolutely must not fight him.
Oh? I'm impressed. Yeah, I was thinking you didn't know heads from tails, but you figured out what really counts. I blew that. Shouldn't have gone out of my way to taunt you.
The man raises an arm. It appears in a flash. His once empty hand now holds.
A stick.
A scarlet 2-meter long stick. My legs throw me to the side before I can think. There isn't even time to even hesitate about jumping off the roof. With all my might, I make a mad dash for the fence, intending to barrel right through it. A cyclone lifts my hair into the air. It was by the skin of my teeth. In that instant, something slices through the space I was just in, tearing the fence apart with it.
Ha! You got a nice pair of legs on you.
A blue whirlwind pursues me.
Yep, definitely a teenager.
There's no way out. The fence is behind me. My flanks are cut off. I won't make it. Es ist gross. Es ist killing. Es ist klein. I react swiftly. My magic crest surges to life so I can weave a single count magecraft. The spell lightens mass and manipulates gravity. Light as a feather, my body bounds into the air.
Rin,
I know! I got this! And I jump over the fence to plummet off the roof. Air resistance and gravity push and pull along my body. It's about 15 meters to the ground, 1.7 seconds away. Too slow. He's going to catch up to me! Fox Scott? Es Atlas? Archer! Handle the landing! I let Archer absorb the shock of the landing and break into a dash as soon as we touched down. I couldn't stay on that rooftop. There. We need a less cramped arena for which to maneuver freely. A battlefield without obstacles where Archer and I can truly shine. It takes me less than 7 seconds to escape from the roof to the schoolyard. A distance of over 100 meters. Crossed at a pace no normal person can manage, much less clearly see. And yet...
You really do have good legs. I almost feel bad about having to kill you here.
Against a servant, it's wasted effort. Archer! At the same time I draw back, Archer materializes before me. It's a cloudy night. Archer's hand grips a short sword that faintly reflects in the moonlight.
Oh?
The man's lips twist into an ominous sneer.
Yeah, This ought to be. Can't say I hate guys like you who are quick on the uptake.
The whirlwind howls. It's the weapon he swung at me on the rooftop, a spear of blood like crimson that came mercilessly for my head. A lancer.
And that's me. That must make your servant a saber. Nah, he doesn't feel like one. Who the hell are you?
Gone is his carefree ease from a moment ago. Archer stays silent, facing off against Lancer's unconcealed bloodlust.
Forgot to put you on shut up.
There's just under 5 meters between them. Lance's weapon is nearly 2 meters long. It doesn't feel like this beast of a man is going to be deterred by a mere 3-meter difference.
I can tell you're not the type to settle things man to man. That must make you Archer.
Archer doesn't take the bait. An unusual clash of blue and red stare at each other down. The two knights, somewhat similarly dressed, mutually calculate the other's demise.
Alright. All that's left is throw down. Draw your bow, Archer. Not usually how I do this, but I'm polite enough to wait that long.
Archer doesn't answer. His back, as steely as a sword, seems to convey that. He must not have anything to say to someone he must defeat. That's when I realize it. I'm such a fool. Archer was waiting for my word. Archer? I'll call out to him without getting any closer. Don't hold back. Show me everything you've got. Was that a laugh? The Red Knight surges forward, his lips curled in response. Wind swirls. A scarlet bullet flies forth, blade in hand.
Fool!
A blue spear thrust intercepts him. If the charging archer is a gust of wind, then the spear tip that rises to meet him is a divine storm. Streaking blades, elegant parries. Archer is put on the defensive, fending off the swift thrusts with his short sword. The man in red is stopped in his tracks, his advance denied by the enemy. He can't even breach the 2-meter coverage of the spear. A polearm wielder can control his opponent's range. Lancer, with his nearly 2-meter reach, needs to simply engage his foe whenever he comes within range. It's easier for him to stab an advancing opponent than it is for him to go after Archer himself. Despite this, Lancer closes the distance himself to press the attack, all while keeping Archer from advancing further.
You're a damn fool of a bowman trying to challenge me in close combat.
Mac and
Nom nom.
cheese, sorry. Nom.
Whenever you're ready, Doodle Girl.
Lancer's snarl is fiery. With each thrust, Lancer closes in, the assault never letting up for a second. Moving in too close is suicide for a spear wielder. The advantage of a spear is the ability to control the enemy's position. Lancer shouldn't have a chance if he keeps closing in.
No way. I think.
But that's only according to conventional wisdom. Unerringly, unceasingly, Lancer's spear seeks to pierce Archer's throat, shoulder, forehead, heart. The strikes are too swift to even leave an afterimage. Archer is forced to parry, block, or evade every move of the spear. Any strike, if true, would be a mortal blow. Still, Archer is a servant, even if he specializes with the bow. He won't be brought down so easily by mundane attacks.
I think that was
Not sure
Archer.
which one that was.
Archer.
The thrust at his forehead is quickly batted aside, and Archer renews his charge in spite of Lance's spear. One might think that swordplay is all there is to Archer's attacks, but he's exploiting a weakness of spear tactics. Against a spear's considerable reach, neither retreat nor evasion are viable defenses for long. A half-hearted withdrawal isn't enough to get out of range, while probing attacks will lead to evisceration. A reckless charge will similarly end in impalement at the edge of the spear's range. Archer and Lancer have more or less the same physical stature. Without heavy armor, it's difficult for Archer to penetrate the lethal storm of Lancer's attack radius. But Lancer's strikes are a different story. The high-speed thrusts intended to pierce vital points are indeed terrifying. But each strike has a trajectory and a target. If one can predict these, then there are ways to avoid harm. Just as Archer is doing, one can block the strikes aimed at vital points, or just barely evade their arcs to create safe openings. Lancer probably underestimated him as a ranged specialist. The advantage of a long weapon is the generous range at which one can engage the opponent. By giving that up, Lancer has assured his...
Oh, that was
man
you.
in red stops in his tracks. I watched a nightmare unfold, as if time had rewinded. Lance's attacks become even faster than before.
Yeah.
Archer's short sword is knocked aside as he twists to avoid being skewered. Lancer's spear doesn't allow retreat. Or rather, his endless attacks are so fierce and sharp that even servants are doomed against them. We were the ones who underestimated our enemy. Yep, that servant, that Lancer and his spear can't be described in mundane martial terms. Who could possibly survive such a relentless barrage? Archer beats food. Archer beats a desperate retreat while parrying strikes, creating slightly more distance between the fighters. In that moment, Lancer steps into the gap and unleashes an even more ferocious attack. Weird request, Curb. Could you take over as Rin for a bit? I'll be right back.
Sure. The storm of attacks is a little different from what he's already been doing, but their execution is truly godlike. They've already clashed 10 times. No, it's actually several times more than that. The torrent of spear strikes increases again in intensity and number, threatening to take Archer's life 1,000 times over. But it isn't even a change in speed, but in precision. At a steady pace, Lancer's spear comes down on Archer like a waterfall. How can Archer get inside his guard? With such a short weapon, all he can do is defend against the spear. He has no way to close in on Lancer. In fact, he's being forced backwards. The steel vacuum reach stretches out. I should be backing Archer up, but the right words die in my throat. My magecraft isn't easy to aim precisely. I risk hitting Archer too if he can't get far enough away from Lancer. Meanwhile, Lancer's advantage will only deepen. And, to be honest, I'm captivated by their duel. So this is a battle between servants. The Holy Grail War is a battle between familiars of the highest order, heroic spirits, beings that we mages can't begin to approach. Servants. Familiars divided among 7 classes and roles, serving 7 masters. Supreme familiars called forth by the Holy Grail itself. Familiar is a really misnomer for them. Familiars are supposed to be subservient minions who act on the behalf of a mage. Normally, you'd imagine something like Puss in Boots, an elegant white bird, or a disobedient black dog, something like that. Those sorts of familiars are what a typical mage can manage to command. Familiars are just that, from the Latin for a menial servant. It's inconceivable that a mascot used for menial labor would be stronger than its master. Servants are a different story. They're quite literally the most powerful examples of humanity. Even the 5 magicians wouldn't be able to control them. It's difficult to summon a servant, not because servants are more powerful than mages. Servants are beings that surpass magecraft itself. To be clear, servants are heroes of the past. Myths, legends, fables, histories. We call the glorious superhumans from our traditions heroes, whether the tales are true or not. Immortalized by what humanity says about them, they cease to be merely human after death and ascend to something greater. People who work miracles, who save the multitudes, who accomplish great feats, are elevated to the status of heroes, either in life or after death. They become a type of elemental we call heroic spirits, guardians of the human race. It doesn't matter whether they were historical people or characters from mythology. Heroes are created by the thoughts of the people. We imagine them as the idols we wish they were, and treat them as if they were real. Objective truth is irrelevant. Fame and faith are sufficient to give form to these legends. They're humanity's ultimate ideals, the greatest among us. That's what it means to be a hero and a heroic spirit. Naturally, it's impossible for a mere human to control something greater than human. What mages usually do is borrow a portion of their power and imitate their feats. Summoning a complete heroic spirit is simply impossible. Yet, the Holy Grail makes it possible. It allows us to summon these spirits in the flesh, and even bind them to our command. The sheer absurdity of it proves the Grail's omnipotence. That's how heroic spirits are summoned from across time, whether from the Age of Gods or as recent as a century ago. The 7 heroic spirits serve and protect their 7 masters, and each master sends their servants out to defeat enemy masters. It's a death match between heroes of every age and every land. That's the story behind the ritual we call the Holy Grail War. Of course, there are limits to what the Grail can do. Even the Holy Grail can't indiscriminately summon mythic beings akin to the elementals. Just as a form created by the people is required to materialize in the 6th theoretical factor known as demons, heroic spirits need a material form to operate in this world. This is their temporary label, and the way they're allowed to exist in this world. The Holy Grail provides the vessels that heroic spirits can easily materialize in, called classes, and only heroic spirits that fit these classes can be summoned. A class is like a passport that lets a heroic spirit visit the modern era to act as a familiar. It's a material vessel that they can temporarily possess. There are 7 masters and 7 heroic spirits to serve them. Each is assigned one of the 7 classes. Saber, the Knight of the Sword. Lancer, the Knight of the Spear. Archer, the Knight of the Bow. Rider, the Cavalier. Caster, the Mage. Assassin, the Silent Killer. Berserker, the Mad Warrior. Only heroic spirits with attributes corresponding to the 7 classes can be summoned to the modern world, and they become servants whom the masters command. That's the servant system. Humans summon and make contracts with heroic spirits beyond our ability to handle, all in hopes of winning a miracle beyond our ken. It's the greatest of battles that can only happen here in this land, like no other Holy Grail War. The duel reaches an even higher pitch. The short sword goes flying from Archer's hand after blocking one of Lancer's strikes. Lancer's skill is consummate. A seemingly straight thrust is suddenly whipped into a disarming arc at Archer's wrist. It was an attack that Archer couldn't have avoided, even if he saw it coming. There isn't an effective way to parry the spear with his sword. A forceful block is countered with an even keener strike, while defending with a minimal force will never create an opening to exploit. The clash between a sword and a spear is shaping up to be an intense struggle to defeat an enemy outside of Archer's reach.
You fool.
There's no hesitation in Lancer, even as he taunts Archer. He pauses from the constant pressure he puts on Archer. Does he intend to settle the duel in an instant? Lancer takes a firmly rooted stance, trading a fiery glare with the now unarmed Archer. It happens in an instant. In the span of a breath, Lancer looses a fury of blows that is no less than a flash of light. Imperceptible. Forehead, neck, and heart. The spear moves to skewer all three. And yet, another flash of light counters the first that I couldn't even follow. Archer's hand grasps the short sword once more. Like the weapon he used earlier, it's a Chinese sword, not dissimilar to a cleaver. But the greatest difference between them is...
A dual wielder, huh?
blade and blade. In each hand he grips a sword, each clearly meant to complement the other.
Playing swordsman, are we?
Lancer's spear sings through the air. It becomes even faster, as if to herald Archer's certain death.
Look at the cool light show.
The duel becomes a symphony of clashing blades. Two steel instruments play a resounding chorus, the sparks of their conflict rising to a never-ending crescendo. Their battle is like a vacuum. It sucks in all the air around it, making me feel like I'd be cut if I even dare to approach. It all happened in an instant, really. But as I watched with bated breath, the moments seemed to stretch on.
No, that's just the author not knowing how to use 10 words.
Yeah! Lancer keeps his foe out of his fatal pocket, while Archer attempts to close the gap with his shield of dual swords. They've clashed over 100 times already, Archer losing a weapon each time. But instantly another sword appears in Archer's empty hand, and Lancer is slightly driven back each time. Lancer finally acknowledges his miscalculation. He has no idea who he's fighting. Neither do we. But it would be a mistake.
Well, neither do you.
Well, that's true. But it would be a mistake to keep dismissing his opponent as a bowman. A space opens up between them. Lancer puts significant distance between them. Maybe he intends to start over. That agility isn't normal. Archer's charge defies human ability, but he's sluggish next to Lancer. The swiftness of Lancer's retreat had the speed and grace of a leopard.
27. Disarmed you 27 times and you still have more?
Lancer sounds irritated. Actually, he sounds more confused than upset. I feel the same way. According to my father, servants typically only have one weapon. They're supposed to be singular relics of unimaginable power, not expendable items to be drawn over and over like Archer's doing. Servants are heroes whose spiritual rank are elevated to the magnitude of elementals or divine spirits after death. In a way, they're not unlike angels and demons. They're powerful familiars on their own, but their greatest strength is the mighty weapons that prove they're heroes. We call these magic items the noble phantasms. They're the favored weapon or armor that a servant used while it was a living hero, and it's literally the servant's secret weapon. To a servant, a noble phantasm is a one-of-a-kind armament. It's the servant's indisposable ultimate weapon as well. Same goes for Lancer's spear. It can exhibit its power as a noble phantasm if he so chooses. A noble phantasm is a formidable weapon on its own, but its true power is expressed by invoking its true name. Heroes' weapons are known to have slain dragons and gods, to have conquered the earth. Servants activate noble phantasms with their own magical energy. It's not unlike magecraft, actually. Servants use their noble phantasms as catalysts to recreate the destruction from the legends. A noble phantasm is most certainly not a disposable tool. Archer has produced dozens of swords by now. Each seems like a masterwork unto itself, but they surely can't be his noble phantasm. He's an archer, after all. His secret weapon must be some kind of bow.
Oh, what's the matter, Lancer? It's not like you to be so cautious. Where did all that fire go?
Sneaky bastard. Think you can bait me like that?
The cause of Lancer's irritation is obvious. Lancer has been fighting as a spearman, while Archer has been fending him off as a swordsman, meaning that Archer hasn't revealed his cards yet. That must be frustrating to deal with.
Fine. Then let me ask you this. Which land are you a hero from? I've never heard of a bowman who's also a dual-wielding swordsman.
It's easy to tell who you are, though. They say that only the swiftest heroes are chosen as Lancers, but you're outstanding even among them. There can't be 3 spear wielders as fine as you in the world, and only one has such bestial agility.
Oh? Well said, Archer.
For a moment, the bloodlust is so strong I forget to breathe. Lancer's arms move. It's a deliberate stance without any of the nonchalance he's been showing so far. His spear tip dips as if to puncture the ground, but Lancer's eyes bore straight through Archer.
Then will you taste my killer technique?
I won't stop you. You're a foe we have to overcome sooner or later.
Lancer lowers his stance. Simultaneously, a thorny, bitter cold overtakes the schoolyard. The air freezes. I don't mean that metaphorically, it's literally ice cold. All of the mana in the atmosphere freezes solid. Only the warrior Lancer is allowed to breathe in this space. The spear in Lancer's hands is undoubtedly magical. Its true form eager to burst forth. Oh no. He's going to die. I don't know what kind of noble phantasm that is, but Archer is finished. It's the first time I've had this kind of premonition, and hard as it is to believe, I don't doubt it for a second. If Lancer unleashes his spear, Archer will die. That's absolutely certain. As Lancer says, his spear means death.
That was Ren.
Archer will lose. Lancer will stab him through the heart, and he'll die. What the fuck is this? What is this shit that this place keeps giving me? Wow. Despite these premonitions, despite the insight, I can't even help Archer. I feel like if I so much as lift a finger, it'll signal the beginning of the end. If there's a way to prevent Archer's defeat, then it could only be...
Lancer.
Who goes there?
I see I'm back in time. The sudden appearance of a third party whom we've all overlooked.
Who goes there? It's not me. Don't worry about it.
Huh? Lancer's ferocity disappears. I hear the sound of someone running away. From behind, I can clearly make out a school uniform. A student? Someone was still on campus?
Apparently, and it saved our lives.
Archer answers coolly. Sure enough, the interruption did save our skin. I screwed up. I was so distracted by Lancer, I wasn't keeping an eye on our surroundings. Wait, what are you doing, Archer?
Can't you tell? I'm resting because there's no one left to fight.
That's not what I mean. What about Lancer?
He went off to chase the witness. Probably to get rid of them.
For a moment, my thoughts grind to a halt. After them, Archer! I'll catch up!
There he goes.
Archer pursues Lancer immediately. Damn it! Such a dummy! I curse my own negligence. It's standard mage policy to eliminate witnesses. Until now, I've been careful not to allow anyone to see me as a mage to avoid that scenario. Why did that have to happen today of all days?
Why not?
The night feels oppressive, not letting even the moonlight through. I find Archer standing over the body of a student, collapsed on the floor of a terrible cold hallway. He looks wordlessly down at the student. An odor reaches my nose. The sight of slowly pooling blood makes me realize that it's the smell of death. Follow him, Archer. Lancer should be running back to his master. If we can at least catch sight of their face, then tonight isn't a total loss. Archer goes off after Lancer. Only the fallen student and I remain in the corridor. I can't look him in the eye, but I have to. This is my fault. This is my fault. This is my fault. Since I was young, since I made up my mind to inherit the Tosaka legacy, I've been prepared for this. Mages aren't governed by good or evil. I've known all along that this path would be a bloody one. A single thrust from Lancer's spear. If he got you in the heart, there's no saving you. I don't know how many seconds ago Lancer killed him. It's just a matter of whether he was unlucky enough to get stabbed through the heart. The blood loss isn't as bad as I would expect for a destroyed heart, so maybe the injury isn't too deep. It might not be too bad, but he's still screwed if blood has been cut off to his brain. Oh yeah, if his heart was wrecked, then he would have died instantly. Still not dead? You're really something. It's hard to hear, but just barely. My ears picked up a faint breathing that might be a death rattle. But it won't last more than a few seconds. I don't have the power to save him. I don't even have a way to heal my own wounds. I have to look him in the eye at least. I start to reach for the face of the prone figure, when I realize that my fingers won't move. They're shaking. But why? I'm used to this. I've made this choice countless times. I've lost so much thanks to my own mistakes, my own selfishness. That's why I've always been ready for this day to come. Then why am I so angry at myself? I'm sorry. I'll keep you company. You deserve that much. I use cold logic to still my trembling fingers and legs and check the fallen student's face. After lots of dialogue. A great weight falls onto me. I feel like I've just been struck by a hammer. Don't do this to me. Why did it have to be you? I grind my teeth. No longer to brace myself against the shaking, but because I'm truly angry. Why did it have to be him? Why him especially? I'm not upset with Lancer for silencing a witness, as a servant should. But at school today, of all days, at this hour! You fool, why would you, of all people... Sakura's face comes to mind. I'm sure she'll come. And I find myself recalling a day after school, some years ago. The sky glowed a distant red. A boy that always ran. And a silly little girl watching him absently from afar. That boy got involved in something he shouldn't have, and now his corpse is in front of me. There's still a way. If I fail, I might lose my trump card, but there's a way to save him. No, I'll lose it, whether this works or not, so the outcome's the same to me. This is a mistake. His impending death is a foregone conclusion. It's my fault for not paying enough attention to what was happening around me. And his fault for having the dumb luck to be here tonight. There's no need for me to go this far for him. My father, who left me with nothing to remember him by, did in fact leave me this heirloom to help me. It's a massive store of magical energy meant to be a trump card that helps me win this war. A precious, precious treasure just for... So what, stupid? I turn back and kneel by the dying body. Well, that's that. The pendant in my hand gets lighter. My father's keepsake is nearly empty. With a clink, I drop it on the guy who was a second away from becoming a corpse. Nothing else I could have done. There really was no other way. I don't have the power or skill to bring someone back to life, especially not someone with a destroyed heart, damaged blood vessels, and brain death mere seconds away. All I can do is patch up his missing parts with brute force. You're lucky to still be breathing. If you were totally dead, then there would have been no bringing you back with any amount of magical energy. But if he's still alive, then I need to help him the best I can. I would have really hated myself if I failed, but it worked out, I guess. Yeah, I feel fulfilled, if I'm being honest. This wasn't such a bad experience. Though really, I'm lying to myself. I should go. I did what I came to do. Better get out of here before he wakes up. Yeah, there isn't any point hanging around. Archer's off tailing Lancer, so I should just go home. On the way home, I remember. I left my father's memento at school, though now it's just a pendant with all of its magical energy wrung dry. Oh well. I don't suppose I need it anymore. It might have a little magical energy left in it, but it's less than 10 gemstones that I'm carrying. Oh. I'm sorry, I'll be right back in the crypt to take over again.
What Father wanted was for me to have enough magical energy to win the Holy Grail War. Now that I've used that resource up, its container doesn't mean much. I arrive home without announcing my return and plop down on the sofa. Archer still isn't back yet. I heave a tired sigh and listen to the clock tick for a few minutes. Need to get my head in the game. After a battle like that, what am I even spacing out for? I jump to my feet and make some black tea. I have plenty to think about. The servant we encountered most of all. I finally watched a battle between servants, which until today I'd only known about through books. Lancer, huh? I panicked when he seemed about to use his noble phantasm, but at least it would have let me learn who he is. Learning a servant's identity is key to defeating a servant. With the exception of the idiot who doesn't know his own name, a servant's greatest weakness is their identity. Once you learn a servant's name and identity, then you can mostly deduce that heroic spirit's noble phantasm. It goes without saying that since servants are heroic spirits, they have legends associated with them. Unraveling the history can reveal a lot about their abilities. Masters address servants by their class names to hide their true names. The more famous the hero, the more likely their weapons and weaknesses will be known. A heroic spirit who has become a servant will never willingly divulge their identity. That knowledge is reserved only for their master. There's a tacit understanding that a master conceals his own servant's identity while trying to figure out the identities of the other servants, including this one. There have been 5 Holy Grail Wars thus far. Each servant's quality depends on the caliber of the summoned heroic spirit. Naturally, a famous hero, or one with a legendary weapon, is powerful. Accordingly, it's difficult to summon such heroic spirits. For that, a summoner needs a connection to a heroic spirit they're summoning, such as a weapon the hero wielded during their lifetime. Even the Mages Association, with all its resources, only has a few such items in its possession. That's why most mages, myself included, summon a hero spirit whom we have an affinity with. A servant's strength is determined by the caliber of the heroic spirit, or so the logic goes. But reality isn't so clear-cut. Even a superior heroic spirit might struggle when the classes in play aren't favorable. Class-specific abilities can have a large impact on the outcome of a battle. Each of the 7 classes comes with an additional ability, and the interaction between these can allow one to triumph over a stronger opponent. To continue the example, it's said that great heroes were defeated by lesser-known heroes in each of the previous 4 wars. As far as I know, the best servant class is Saber. Saber fought until the very end in each of the last 4 wars. Saber, Lancer, and Archer are said to have very powerful magic resistance. Magecraft isn't effective against these 3 classes. After all, they're warriors from ages of myth and legend when magic was still prevalent.
Spells cast by modern mages would probably fizzle out on contact. That's why the first 3 classes are generally considered the most desirable. The other class to watch out for is Berserker. Heroic spirits summoned in this class lose their sanity. As their name suggests, they become crazed warriors and puppets of their masters, but are strengthened beyond the powers they had in life. It's also worth noting that the stronger the servant is, the greater its burden on its master. In the past, masters who drew berserkers couldn't control their servants and ultimately self-destructed due to running out of magical energy. No exceptions.
I can say an exception, but I'll save that for later.
In the vast majority of cases, Holy Grail wars are won by the summoned servant's abilities. Of course, there are plenty of ways for masters to win battles, but it basically comes down to fighting between servants. That's why a master needs to commit the utmost diligence and effort when summoning a servant. And not forget to set the clocks correctly. Discontented, I decide to come with projections for the battles to come. Before long, it's 11 p.m. Yes, I fixed the clocks already. Archer comes home.
How did Curb stop predicting this stuff? Don't make jokes.
That's just literally what this friend group does, though. We
Welcome
make
back.
jokes about things that eventually come true.
Welcome back. How did it go?
Sorry, I failed. This master must be a cautious one. I was at least able to tell that Lancer's master isn't on this side of the city.
Figures. Lancer was all alone, and his master didn't seem like the type to show themselves. I see. Well, we knew it wouldn't be that easy. Everything can't go according to plan, so there's no use worrying over it. I'll just give up and treat tonight as a learning experience.
You seem dispirited, Master. What happened to all that combativeness? Don't tell me you're cowed after a single skirmish. If you order it, I can go back out right now and re-engage Lancer.
Archer doesn't say it, but I can tell he thinks that's the right the right course of action. Oh. I must look pretty depressed right now, huh? That's not it. I'm just going back out because I don't want to waste the effort.
Waste what effort?
The masters aren't all accounted for yet. Tonight's fight was unavoidable, but we're not supposed to fight until the signal to start the war. Father told me that's a rule of the Holy Grail War.
I see. So your father was a master too.
Archer nods in understanding. Actually, he's making a rather mixed expression. What? Got something to say to me?
Yes, I forgot to ask you something. Ren, you've been raised from a young age to be a master and followed that lifestyle accordingly, yes? That means you always expected to become a master.
Of course I did. Some mages are appointed as masters, but it doesn't work like that for me. I'm a Tosaga. Winning the Holy Grail War has been our goal for generations.
That makes sense. So you already had an objective in mind. That's what I wanted to ask you about. I need to know my master's wish before I offer my sword in service. So, Rin, what is your wish?
My wish? I don't really have one.
What?
Archer's making a funny face.
That can't be true. The Holy Grail can grant any wish. Mages only become masters to obtain the Holy Grail. So what do you mean you have no wish?
Archer drops all pretense. Ah, right. Once the Holy Grail is won, the victorious master's wish has nothing to do with the servant. But that's weird. Father mentioned that servants have their own wishes too, but that's their own business. It shouldn't matter to Archer whether or not I have a wish.
Fine. Since you don't have a specific wish, what about a general one? Like, conquering the world, for example.
Why? The world already belongs to me. You know, Archer, the world is just a set of values that revolves around yourself. I've had that ever since I was born. I don't need to take over something that's always been inherently mine. Archer looks at me with a strange expression. Man, he's stubborn.
May I say something?
Hmm.
I just want to stand over the corpses of 6 fallen heroes drinking ginger ale from a goblet touched by the blood of Christ. Teenage girl stuff.
Yeah.
You're going to hear me quote the abridged all the freaking time.
I don't believe you. The Holy
glad I
Grail
came to
has the
that.
power to grant wishes.
I'm going to come back to that.
You could obtain anything you want in the material world. How can you not desire anything at all?
Hang on. World domination sounds like a pain, and I wouldn't know what to do with it. Not everyone looks at things the way you do, you know.
I'm having trouble understanding this. What are you fighting for?
You okay?
Pick up.
Sorry.
If there's a fight to be had, I just want in, Archer. I'll take whatever I find along the way. I don't really know how the Holy Grail works, but if I find that there's something I want, I can just use it on that. Not all people live to acquire things, you know.
Meaning?
That's right. I'm just fighting to win. Archer sighs and shrugs. Maybe he's fed up with me, but he finally relaxes.
I give up. You truly are fit to be my master.
I don't know how to respond to comments like that, so I wish he'd stop making them. Servants may not have the right to choose their masters, but what makes you think I'm worthy for you?
Do I need to spell it out? It's because you are, without a doubt, the strongest master. I don't need any other reason than that.
Oh, well, thanks. That doesn't sound like flattery coming from you. I turn away to hide my embarrassment. Archer usually acts like a smartass, so this sincerity is blinding me. Admittedly, I'm happy he feels this way. I've come to trust him, and he's come to trust me. I don't think this mutual sentiment is a bad thing.
I suppose we should take a breather then. Seventh Master is yet to appear, but it might not happen right. Wait, Rin, what happened to your jewelry?
My jewelry? Oh, you mean the pendant? I forgot it back there. It doesn't have any power anymore, so I really don't need it, do I?
I suppose not, if you say so.
Yeah, it's a keepsake from father, but it's hardly the only memory I have of him.
Don't say that. You don't always have to act so strong, Rin.
As he nags me. Archer holds out the pendant I left at school. Oh, you picked it up for me.
Don't lose it again. It really belongs with you, Rin.
Archer avoids eye contact as he passes the pendant to me, looking almost bashful. Okay, thanks. I accept it.
Wait, then why did he ask about her jewelry if he already had it?
He plays his cards close to his chest. He's just getting information a lot of the time, it seems like.
Yeah, that sounds about right. To be honest, I'm not sure whether to be embarrassed or play it off right now. The pendant is as I left it. As I thought, it really doesn't have any energy left. It's just an expensive jewel now that is empty. But to put it in Archer's terms, maybe it still has meaning as a memento of my father, even without its power. I suppose I can laugh this off as a net win, since I spent my trump card to save someone's life. Wait a second. I jolt up in my seat. I wasn't thinking straight while I lamented what I lost, but as I pull myself together, it strikes me. He saw us, so I ought to alter his memories. Meanwhile, Lancer prioritized eliminating the witness over fighting us. Lancer's thinking should reflect that of his master. Which means if a master who went out of their way to kill a witness finds out that he survived, they won't let him live. I stand up from the sofa. It's already been 3 hours. I might not make it in time. But I can't let this happen. Not after all the trouble I went through. I sprint through the night. Fortunately, I know where he lives. Not because I bothered to find out, but because someone I happen to know goes over to his place often. I've never been there personally. Good grief, you're really making this harder on
Nope.
yourself?
Nope.
Oh, good grief. You're really making this harder on yourself.
This is why I had the Japanese voice on.
There. Archer gripes enthusiastically. It's going to be as much a struggle to rescue the guy now as it was to save him earlier. It's midnight. The sky is shrouded in clouds. I arrive at an old samurai estate. The building closest to the outside shows no signs of life. There aren't many neighboring houses, so it's unlikely anyone would come even if they noticed something was amiss. My breath mists white. The wind picks up. It must be pretty strong because the clouds are starting to move. I find myself trembling despite the temperate Fuyuki weather, and a chill runs down my spine. People call Fuyuki a warm place, but you can feel the winter chill from the hilltops. The air is bitingly cold. The chill presses in and makes it harder to hear. In the midst of this air that seems conquered by the cold, I keenly sense the enemy. He's here! The Lancer from earlier! Bite my lip. Something's on the other side of the outer wall. Lancer must have already infiltrated the house, waiting for its witless owner to come home to his death. We'll just have to jump over. I'll think about what happens when it happens. Just as I'm about to order Arch to go in. A flash. From the house emerges a radiant white light, bright as the sun. Its presence is all-consuming. The power radiating from Lancer is being washed away by the newcomer's even greater aura. An instantaneous explosion of ether gives the spirit physical form. And the summoned being overpowers Lancer. No way. All I can do is whisper in awe. But the truth is staring me in the face. As if to prove the point, Lancer bounds over the wall, fleeing the compound. Hey Archer, is that one of your hypotheticals?
Perhaps, but now all 7 of them are here, and
Archer is calm. Meanwhile, my rational thought goes flying out the window. What happens next should have been obvious, but I'm not thinking straight. There's a strong gust of wind. The clouds cover the sky like an umbrella. Darkness shrouds the lightless outskirts of the town. A servant leaps over the wall and lands gracefully, like an unworldly bird. Archer reacts. I fail to even twitch in response. That's my fault. The fight ends before even a second passes. 1 second might be a brief instant to me, but it's a massive opening to a servant. A bladed wind comes in on me. Archer! Archer lunges in front of me, while the servant cuts him deeply. It really was just an instant. Is Archer, who so gracefully fended off Lancer's brutal assault, going down in one hit? Vanish, Archer! I made it in time. Before the servant's next strike takes off Archer's head, I force him to retreat. Pain throbs on my right hand. Because it was such an extreme order, it used up one of my command seat bells. Now I only have one left. But this was for the best. It's worth losing a command spell or two to make sure Archer doesn't die. 1 second. Still food.
Second is up.
It's a millisecond, it's fine.
Are you sure? She didn't say it was.
I don't have to say it is.
It's always a millisecond.
Clearly you do not remember.
Come on, Rin Tasaka, fix your clock.
Without skipping a beat, the servant comes for me next. Don't underestimate me! I'll pull out a wind-imbued topaz and feed magical energy directly into it without any extra steps. I'm sorry, Kurt, please take over for a moment.
Mm-hmm. It's a cluster of wind spells that I've been feeding into it day after day, and they're enough to blow away a house or two without leaving a trace. This is one of 10 jewels I've been building up for the last 17 years without skipping a single day. Even if I can't beat this thing with it, it should be enough to slow... Or not. It didn't work at all. The moment it touches the servant, what ought to have been a tempest that would hew apart anything in its path disappears like a simple stage magic trick. What terrifying magic resistance. Are you telling me that the mage doesn't have enough magical energy to hurt the servant? Oh no. My magecraft doesn't work and I've lost Archer's protection. I have no way to stop the servant. Even if I barely manage to dodge the first attack, I'm finished. I look up at the night sky. In it, I imagine a ruthless reaper coming for me, sprawled pitifully on the ground. What? The wind blows. Through a break in the clouds, the moon peeks out through the spiral-like sky. The moonlight highlights her elegant profile. So this is the face of the servant who drove off Lancer, took down my archer in one blow, and shrugged off my magecraft like it was nothing.
I need that.
That was an admirable display of magecraft, mage.
The girl's voice rings clear like a bell, yet her voice is the stuff of nightmares at this moment.
But this is the end for you, Master of Archer.
The sword she's thrust at me seems to shine. I know that this is my dying moment. One glance is enough to figure that out. This is the card I wish to draw. The sword-wielding hero said to be the most powerful servant. I look up at the moon, prepared to die. There's no room to beg for my life, no time to escape. With my death, Rin Tosaka's Holy Grail War will have ended on the 3rd day. You think I'd go out hating my foe, feeling nothing but shame and regret? But I don't feel that way at all. Something's seriously wrong with me. I'm 1 moment away from certain death, and here I am entranced by my killer. Yeah, it's frustrating to be sure, but there's nothing I can do now. The strongest servant is going to kill me. She looks all at once heartless, utterly noble, and so very beautiful.
Gotta appreciate a woman that'll actually just kill you.
Yeah.
So that was the prologue.
So welcome to the anime OP.
I don't know if this is copyrighted or not. I'm just gonna keep talking
It's,
over this.
I think
Actually,
it's like UFO table.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely.
I'm just gonna keep talking.
Mute
It's
that.
fine.
Mute this
yeah,
thing
no,
now.
let's just. I'm just gonna keep talking while I figure that out. Where it's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm just gonna. Nope. Mute
Yeah,
that.
no.
All right. That is a. yeah. yeah.
Listen, anything by UFO table is like, no, you're not doing that.
Yeah. I'm just like, wait, hang on. I should probably not let this play. Thinking about it now, actually.
The animation quality, yeah, absolutely UFOtable. Which, by the way, people, frickin' watch the Fate anime. It's so freaking good.
I've watched the prologue and the first episode a couple times and then kept not continuing because I'm like, I want to play the game. But
There.
yeah, is a good rendition. Anyways, hey, we actually made it to the fucking intro screen.
I
Yeah,
don't
we've
have to
made it
narrate
the
anymore.
title screen.
Title screen. All right, new game. Let's go. And now it's time for me to fully take over as narrator. Let's go. I'm gonna do my regular fucking. No.
Min, this.
Oh.
What?
This is you.
Archer.
This is you.
I'm the bone of my sword. Steel is my body, and fire is my blood. I've created over 1,000 blades, unknown to death nor known to life. Have withstood pain to create many weapons.
Yet those hands will never hold anything. So as I pray, unlimited blade works! I had to finish it because...
Yeah.
Now it's Curb.
Yeah. Right, yeah. When I came to, I was lying in a burning field. It must have been a big fire. The familiar town was unrecognizable smoking ruin. It looked like a scene from a war movie. The sight didn't last long, though. As morning dawned, the fires gradually died down. The towering walls of flame shrunk to embers, and most of the buildings looked to have collapsed. It felt so strange, being the only unchanged thing in the town. I was the only one left alive. I was either fortunate, or the house I'd been inside was burnt on the luckiest ground of all time. Either way, I was the only one alive. Since I'd survived, I'd felt that I needed to keep on living. I walked aimlessly, thinking it would be dangerous to remain where I was. It wasn't that I wanted to avoid becoming what had happened. Yes, it wasn't that I wanted to avoid becoming what had happened to everyone around me, those scorched, blackened masses. It wasn't a feeling of disgust or some other emotion was driving me on. Blech, thank you. Reset. Alright. At the same time, I had no hope. It was a miracle I was alive at all, and I didn't think I was going to last much longer. There was just no way in hell I was going to survive. There was simply no way I would ever escape the crimson hellscape no matter what I did. That was how desperate, how hellish this place was, even through the eyes of a young boy. Then I collapsed. Either there was no air around me, or I simply couldn't breathe anymore. I just collapsed, and all I could do was look up at the slowly clouding sky. The scorched black masses around me lay motionless. The dark clouds covered the sky, promising rain. Good. The rain will put out the fires. I took one final deep breath and looked up at the rain clouds. I couldn't breathe, but I still felt pain. I said that out loud on behalf of all those people who couldn't say those words themselves. That was 10 years ago. Miraculously, in the midst of all that, I was saved. My physical body survived. But everything else was scorched, reduced to ash. When a young child loses their parents or their home, there's really nothing left of them.
And so, everything other than my body perished. Put as simply as possible, in exchange for my body living, my heart died. I'm dreaming. I squinted, seeing a bright white light. It was blinding. Light stabbed at my eye when I woke. I doubt I really knew what the sensation of blinding light was in the first place. Huh? What? My eyes adjusted. I woke, alarmed. I was lying in a bed I didn't recognize, in a room that I didn't recognize. I was honestly stunned, but the cleanliness of the white room made me feel at ease. Where am I? I looked blankly at my surroundings. The room was spacious, and beds lined it in neat rows. All the beds were full, and it looked like each bed's occupant was injured. But the room didn't feel depressing at all. Everyone injured survived. I let my eyes wander. I looked out the window. The clear blue sky was so incredibly beautiful. A few days passed, and I was finally able to take in the situation. I had no problem remembering what happened the days before, but I wasn't much different from a newborn during this time. Strange as it is, that was closer to the truth than might seem possible. The fire was just that bad. I was rescued from the fire, I awoke in the hospital, my parents were gone, and my entire body was wrapped in bandages. I didn't really understand what was going on, but I did know that I was alone. It didn't take long for me to accept my circumstances. Maybe I had no choice, really. All the other children were in the same boat. And then later, in the moment I, naive as I was, started to worry about what would become of me, he walked in. He appeared the day my bandages came off and I started eating on my own. His hair was disheveled, his suit tattered. He looked a bit younger than my doctor. He looked more like someone's older brother than someone's father. I don't know. Pokemon?
I can take it.
I know who this is, yeah. Pokemon.
Hello, you must be Shiro.
His beaming smile seemed to blend into the pouring white sunlight. His voice was somehow irritatingly fake, yet extremely gentle.
I'll come right to it. Would you rather go to an orphanage or go home with the man you just met?
He was offering to take me in. I asked if we were related. He said we were complete strangers. He looked like an unremarkable, unreliable guy. But then again, he was no more or less familiar than the orphanage. So I decided I'd go with him.
Oh, good. Then let's pack up quickly. It'd be best if you got used to your new home as soon as possible.
He started gathering my things hastily. Even as young as I was, I could see he wasn't any good at it. And after he made a mess packing...
Forgot to mention one important thing. Before you come with me, there's one thing you need to know.
He turned, asking for confirmation. He asked so casually, as if asking me there was somewhere I wanted to go. Yep.
Let me be direct to you. I'm a magician.
He said it in a serious, almost ceremonious manner. It happened so fast, now that I think back, I was also immature. I just accepted his word as fact. I took it neither as a joke or genuine statement. Really? That's so cool, Pops. I guess I said something like that, eyes wide in astonishment. And I was his child. Actually, I don't remember how that conversation went, but every now and then my old man would bring it up. He would recount that scene over and over, acting all embarrassed. That scene might have been the happiest day of my old man, a man named Oh god. Kiritsugi
Kiritsugu-
Emiya.
Kiritsugu Emiya.
Kiritsugu Emiya.
Yeah, Kiritsugu.
Kiritsugu Emiya's life. You could say that. It was one thing for him to tell a recently orphaned kid he was a magician, but I was no better, the way I so eagerly bought into it. And that was how my old man adopted me, and how I took the last name, Emiya. Shiro Emiya. When I said that name out loud, I felt really proud of having the same last name as Kiritsugi Sugu.
Kiritsugu.
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 Ah. I'm dreaming. It's from my childhood. It's probably about 8 years ago, since it's about the time when I talked my old man into making me his apprentice. Kiritsugu had started going away on a regular basis once I was old enough to stay home by myself. He'd always given me some childish, unbelievable explanation, like, I'm going to go on an adventure around the world. Then he'd actually do it. From then on, that's how it always was. It wasn't unusual for him to be gone for a month, and at times he didn't come back home for half a year. The Emiya mansion was an expansive Japanese samurai-style house, and Kiritsugu and I were the only ones living there. It felt too big and empty for a child like me, and at times I felt lost. But I liked my life there. Whenever Kiritsugu came home from his trips, he would brag and tell stories like an excited child. And another child, one who shared his last name, always looked forward to those stories. I may have been alone in the mansion, but Kiritsugu's stories always helped lessen that. He was always pursuing a dream like a boy. I was wary of his whims, yet at the same time, he always looked radiant to me. Maybe that's why I hoped to be like him one day. Well, as childish as I might have been, I realized I needed to get my act together, since I had an old man with his head constantly in the clouds. Two days prior, baby.
One day one.
Don't worry about it. I hear a sound. The heavy, rustled hinges on the door creak as it's being pushed open. Light pours in through the crack in the door. My mind tries to shake off the slumber.
Senpai, you awake?
I hear footsteps drawing near, and I feel the winter air flowing in. Morning, Sakura.
Yes, good morning to you too, Senpai. Senpai, it's morning. It's still early, but Miss Fujimura will be mad if she finds you sleeping here.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for waking me up, as always.
It's no problem at all. You're always up early in the morning. I don't often get to wake you up like this.
Not sure why, but Sakura looks more cheerful than usual. I don't know about that. I think you wake me up more often than you think. Then again, Fujimi is brutal when she's the one waking me up, so I prefer you do it. Yep, I've learned my lesson. I'll try not to sleep in here next time. I answer, still half asleep. My head's still not right, so even I don't know what I'm saying.
Oh, okay, but personally I prefer you try not to try too hard.
Sakura's giggling. Crap, I must be so sleepy I'd said something weird. Give me a minute to wake up. The cold winter air helps at times like this. The chill snaps my lethargic mind awake. And in front of me stands my junior at school, Sakura Mato. I'm in my house's storehouse. I'm in my house's storehouse, and it's just about 6 o'clock in the morning.
Senpai?
Yeah, I'm awake now. Sorry, Sakura. I did it again. I need to help you with breakfast.
Don't worry about that. You were up late again last night, weren't you? Then you should take your time this morning. I'll fix breakfast.
Sakura is practically bouncing with excitement. That's odd. Sakura's weirdly energetic this morning. No, I'm getting up, honest. So let's head to the kitchen together. Okay, I'm ready. Let's go, Sakura.
Well, Senpai,
Huh? What, is something wrong?
not exactly, but I believe you should change before you head back inside the house.
Oh, I finally look at myself. I fell asleep working last night, so I'm still wearing my coveralls. The coveralls I wear while I'm working are usually dirty. Who knows what Fujini would say or do if I went into the house as is. Ugh, okay. Guess I'm not quite awake yet. I must be more out of it than usual.
You might be right, which is why you should leave breakfast to me. You should take it easy, Senpai. Besides, Miss Fujimura would be really angry if she saw the mess here. Honestly, the only word here that makes me feel weird to say is senpai.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then I'll get changed. You go on ahead.
Okay, I'll be waiting.
Sakura quickly walks out. Okay, then. I'll change into my school uniform first. Then I need to collect all the parts I left scattered around. The storehouse is in the corner of the backyard, and all sorts of junk is crammed in here. Though I've always liked to tinker with gadgets, so the place is a treasure trove to me. The old man forbade me to go into the storehouse, but I ignored his warnings and snuck in almost every day. Now it's a sort of base for me. I guess you could call this place my real room. The massive Emiya house never felt homey to me, but I've always felt at ease in here, surrounded by all this junk. Besides, it's wasteful. Maybe junk, but but a lot of it still works. The majority of the things in the storehouse are everyday things, mostly unusable. I'm not sure whether I brought it all in because I liked it in here, or whether I liked this place because it was full of junk. Either way, I snuck into this storehouse almost daily, and I made a sort of a hobby of fixing broken things. I'm not the type who gets attached to things, but it just didn't feel right to neglect things that are still usable, or maybe it would be better to say the idea of doing that just bothered me. Which is why I stayed up all night trying to fix a broken stove. Guess I'll be done tomorrow. Falling asleep midway is proof I'm not concentrating. I try to shake off my self-disgust at that. I gather the parts for the stove and put them back on the shelf of things waiting to get fixed. There's no more room, though. Once I fix the stove, an old VCR is up next, both of which were destroyed by Fujini. We can set that aside for now. Okay, then. I change into my school uniform. Since the storehouse is like my own room, I still have all the essentials, including changes of clothes in here. The rest are things like haphazardly drawn blueprints scattered all over the place, and literal junk from my failed attempts at fixing various things. Also, there's some sort of pattern carved in the storehouse's floor, perhaps used as some sort of altar in the past. Okay, gotta work hard again today. I clap my hands in a prayer at the storehouse and turn towards the mansion. I walk from the storehouse to the mansion. The Emiya residence is a Japanese samurai-style house, located on the outskirts of town. My old man wasn't from a notable family, yet for some reason he owned this giant house. That in and of itself was a mystery, and it also seems he didn't have any relatives here in Japan. And so, when my old man died, there was no one else to inherit the mansion, so it came to me as his adopted son. Though to be honest, I don't have any administrative abilities, so things like inheritance, property taxes, and any other complicated things are all handled by Old Man Fujimura. Old Man Fujimura is a major businessman who lives nearby. Kiritsugu described Old Man Fujimura as an old man who's like a Yakuza boss. Obviously, that was his own biased view. In fact, Old Man Fujimura is not like a Yakuza boss, he is a Yakuza boss. That might be a problem in and of itself, but I try not to dwell on it. Anyway, that's why I live in this giant mansion on my own. It's been 5 years since my old man died. Time sure does fly. I sigh, thinking about how much I've grown in those 5 years. I trained every day to become more like Kiritsugu, but that's easier said than done. It's not surprising, since I didn't have what it takes from the start, but the fact that I haven't improved at all these past 5 years forces me to reassess things. If I have to sum up my current situation, I'd say I'd set the bar too high. I haven't even reached the starting line. No, rushing won't do me any good. For now, I just have to do what I can. Okay, then. What I need to do now is...
Oh boy, here we go. And so it begins.
So, I will say that until
Until the actual Grail War starts, most of this is meaningless.
yeah.
Yeah.
And also until the you've already finished Fate Route, and especially after you've finished Unlimited Blade Works.
Gotcha.
Because a lot of these will are basically triggers to start the third route, Heaven's Feel.
Gotcha.
Uh,
Well, for now. Oh, we said we'd let Sakura handle it. It's fine.
Yep. Can you do me a favor, though, real quick, now that you've clicked that? Right click. Flowchart!
Yeah.
We have flowchart. By the way, if you scroll out,
Oh,
you can even go up to the prologue
that is fun.
if you wanted. Anyway, just
Also,
right click and go back.
Fate.
Yep, you are on the Fate route. The first of the 3.
There's a respectable dojo built within the Emiya household. It was added as an afterthought when the entire house was being built. It was nothing more than a hobby and indulgence. Okay then. Do some light exercise before breakfast. I'm not really studying martial arts, but my old man once told me.
Do it.
If you want to be like me, you'll need to harden your body.
Since then, I've made a point of working out every day. 99, 100. I finished my daily sit-ups and changed from my doji into my school uniform. Since I overslept, I decided to work out just enough to satisfy me. A few sit-ups with no stretching should be enough. I'm not built to bulk up, and no matter how important they say, bodybuilding is, it's not like I want to get into fights. All I needed to gain enough athletic ability to handle unexpected situations, and be able to move in the way my silly ideals require. After all, the thing I most want to be is the complete opposite of an athlete. Oh, it's getting late. I toss my sweaty dogi in the laundry hamper. It's already 20 past 6. The Emiya household's mornings start early, so even this time would be considered late for breakfast. Breakfast is already prepared. The appetizing scent of the breakfast Sakura cooked wafts towards me from the dining table.
You must have had a good workout. Breakfast is ready.
Oh, thanks. Sorry I made you work because I overslept.
It's no trouble. You did not oversleep. You're not in any school clubs, so it's still early.
Also, I don't remember this portrait. Is the apron are the apron portraits new in this version?
I do not know. I know that most of the stuff from this version is taken from the Real to Nua version.
I think I played that version originally, so I don't remember. Whatever, it's fine. It's been probably over 5 years since I tried to play this last, so yeah.
Clubs have nothing to do with it, and if they do, you coming by in the mornings must be a lot of trouble since you do have morning practice.
well, I want to do this, so please don't worry about me.
Yeah, you keep telling me that, which is why I wake up early, club or no. If you're coming by, it'd be rude to still be asleep. To me, waking up early is waking up before Sakura gets here, and oversleeping means I make Sakura prepare breakfast on her own, like today.
You really are a stickler about this kind of thing. Even Mitsuzuri-senpai says you're honest to a fault and annoying, even though you're so crude.
Mitsuzuri is the captain of the Kyoto club Sakura is in, and she and I seem to cross paths often. Is she still griping about me to you?
Yes. She's working very hard every day to bring you to your knees with her archery skills before you graduate.
Is that so? She must be better than me by now. You know how memories get glorified. I don't mind the reference, but I guess that depends on who sees me that way too.
Mitsuzuri-senpai is very competitive. Sure, she sees you as competition.
Sakura scoops rice into a bowl as she talks. It's almost 6:30. The Kyoto Club's morning practice starts at 7. Attendance is not mandatory, but she doesn't have much time left. Fujine should be here soon. Well, it's her fault for not being here on time. Sakura, let's go ahead and start eating.
You're right. Here you go, senpai.
Sakura hands me the rice bowl with a smile. Oops. I should be used to this every morning, but her delicate fingers catch my attention.
Oh, it's one of these scenes.
I can't explain it, but it's awkward. I'm not sure if it's our age, but Sakura has been looking more provocative lately. Shut up, dude. Her casual movements are so pretty. She often takes my breath away.
We could skip some of this kind of text.
What? No.
Surely.
No. We're gonna read this word for word verbatim as the author intended.
The author didn't intend for 3 adult males and a woman to read this out loud to the audience.
Well, too bad. Maybe they should have thought of that before they fucking released it to the public.
He intended for people to read it in the comfort of their own room, and I'm not gonna finish that sentence.
Too bad. You're making me play this. I'm getting as uncomfortable as possible with this shit. Maybe it's because I never knew Sakura that way before, but now I'm noticing how feminine she's becoming. Now I'm leaning into it. You've unleashed hell.
You sound like my boss. No, like literally, my boss says this exact same shit. Well, I wasn't before, but now. Bitch face is something to mind.
Did you just say bitch face?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, it's nothing. Don't worry about it. Honestly, it's baffling. What the hell am I getting all nervous around my friend's younger sister? Sakura is just a good and considerate younger friend of mine, and she's someone I need to look after. She's the younger sister of a friend of mine. We used to be friendly, though initially we weren't very close, and she's a grade below me. It was only a year and a half ago that our relationship became more of what it is now. Sakura started to come and cook meals for me when I got hurt, and things kind of stayed like that. I think this arrangement was supposed to last until I got better, but I guess something or other happened, and somehow she ended up helping out with household chores. Either way, Sakura's a good cook, and her cleaning and laundry skills are perfect. Having her come early in the morning is a big help, but it's been disconcerting recently. Sakura isn't the problem, it's me.
No, it's Shinji.
I'm sure being flustered by my friend's sister is part of the reason I feel guilty. Usually I'm unfazed, but when I blush because I get caught off guard like now, I wonder. Oh, it's fine.
It's good. Please.
Breakfast is lined up neatly on the table. A perfectly balanced meal of chicken with parsley salad, grilled salmon, blanched spinach, miso soup with radish and carrots, and grated yam soup. Thank you for the meal.
Thank you for the meal.
Sakura and I sit down and bow and begin our meal in silence.
Min is just watching us full on fucking weebs.
The gentle tapping of chopsticks is the only sound in the room. Sakura isn't typically talkative, and I hardly
stepped away, made a sandwich, got some chips, eating some nuts, and I'm drinking a beer. So.
Oh, you're also making food. Excellent. You're embodying the scene that is happening right now. Perfect. Sakura isn't usually talkative, and I hardly have anything to chat about during meals. So we eat in silence. Normally it's much rowdier than this, but the person who usually causes the commotion must have watched a spy movie or something last night because she's eyeing the two of us through the newspaper she's propped up in front of her food.
Okay, so who's Taiga right now?
It was Elena, so I'll just take it.
Go for it.
Miss Fujimura, it may not be wise to read while you eat.
Wait, no, that was Sakura shit.
That's so soccer. What the fuck?
Miss Fujimura, may not be wise for you to read while you eat. It's just something I ask while I realize.
Sakura remarks diffidently, but Fujine ignores her. Fujine is acting weird, but her being weird at breakfast isn't really all that weird for her. Sakura's used to it too.
An adverb that means in a way that shows a lack of confidence or shyness.
Interesting. Sakura's used to it too, and she's eating as if nothing's the matter. Sakura typically cooks up Western dishes. She really only began learning to cook Japanese dishes since she started coming here to help me out. Sakura learned to cook simple Japanese dishes, at least for breakfast, because Fujine and I prefer them. Now, Sakura's cooking skills have improved to the point where she's better than me, and I'm the one who was teaching her. Her miso soup is flavorful and refined now, and she's even gotten to the point where she can grate yams to make yam soup. Actually, I think today is the first time she's served yam soup. Sorry, Sakura, could you pass the soy sauce?
Here, senpai, you ran out of the soy sauce you usually use.
Then I can use Fujine's. Pass it over.
As for Fujimura, do you mind?
Fujine nods. The newspaper shuffles.
Here you go. Are you using it for your yam soup?
Why would
Yeah.
someone-
Everyone puts soy sauce on grated yams.
What?
A line of soy sauce streams from the bottle onto the grated white mound. I stir the mixture up, pour it over my rice, and take a bite. The stickiness of the grated yam combines with the intense flavor of the soy sauce. What the? This isn't soy sauce! It's oyster sauce! Fujine tosses her newspaper on the table with an enthusiastic flick of her wrists.
What'd you think of my little stunt switching the oyster sauce and soy sauce labels the first thing in the morning?
The not-so-mysterious spy punches in the air victoriously. Who the hell puts a stunt like that first thing in the morning? You're gonna turn 25 this year, but you're still the same childish Fujine I've always known.
That'll teach you a lesson after yesterday. You and everyone else who ganged up on me deserve divine justice.
People can't enact divine justice. I knew you were weirdly quiet. Can't believe you've been plotting this since yesterday. You have entirely too much free time on your hands.
That's right, and because of that, I really need to get to work grading tests, so I need to skedaddle or else I'm in real trouble.
Fujine sits back down and shovels her breakfast into her mouth.
Thanks for the meal. Breakfast was great as usual, Sakura.
Oh, it was my pleasure.
And now I'm heading off. You two will be in trouble if you're late for school.
You're the reason we're late.
And off she goes, stomping out in a rush. There's something terribly wrong with a world that allows someone like her to be a teacher.
Senpai?
Sorry, that Fujine hardly savored the breakfast you took so much. You took so much work into put so much work into making. Please.
I thought that what did you do to Miss Fujimura yesterday? She wouldn't usually go so far as to mess with someone's meal.
Hmm? Well, I accidentally called her by her nickname.
Guess there's no avoiding her getting angry again, and you didn't apologize?
Sorry, I forgot, but only because that kind of stuff happens all the time.
Still not good. You know how much Miss Fujimura hates being called by her nickname? You made her cry again, didn't you?
Not only did I make her cry, she also ran away like a scared rabbit. And thanks to that incident, yesterday's English class ended up being a study hall. In fact, everyone in class worked together to make an award for me from their notebook paper because of that. I threw it away, obviously.
What the hell? Okay, I fully believe that a high school would do that.
Yeah.
Like a high school class would do that.
You made the teacher cry, run out of the room, and leave all of us unsupervised. You are the god among men.
Yeah! Sounds like you brought that on yourself then, Senpai.
Fujine is like an older sister to Sakura, so she's typically on Fujine's side. Which is fine on its own, but I wish she would consider the fact that I have to deal with Fujine all day long. Fujine was originally an acquaintance of my old man, and she swung by the house pretty frequently since I was adopted. She's kept on coming even after my old man died, and now she acts like a freeloader, eating breakfast and dinner every day. Actually, it might have been thanks to Fujine that I was able to make it on my own after my old man died. And now it's me, Fujine, and Sakura who are the residents of this Emiya house. But at the same time, I'm the only one who knows that my old man was a mage. They say mages have to keep that part of their lives secret. Which is why I've also been hiding from the others that I'm learning magecraft after I became my old man's apprentice. Learning may be a bit of a stretch, really, since I can barely use magecraft properly. So it wouldn't make much of a difference whether I hide magecraft or not, but since it was my old man's dying wish, I've been training in secret. I finish breakfast and get ready for school. I put away the dishes with Sakura as I listen to the news on the TV in the background. Sakura's looking blankly at the TV. A flashy caption reading, "Gas leaks continue," pops up on screen. There seems to have been a big accident in the neighboring city of Shinto. It happened in a building in the business district. Apparently everyone on one of its floors lost consciousness from oxygen deprivation. Authorities have been calling it an accident resulting from gas leaks, but for some reason these incidents have been happening often. Are you worried about the incident, Sakura?
Not really. Just thinking this happened in Shinto, which is very close to us. Your part-time job is in Shinto, right?
Whoa. Yeah, but the shop's not that big. I don't think an accident like that would happen there. But I can't entirely ignore the idea either. Gas leaks can happen in any building, and it especially pains me to think that hundreds of people will fall on victim. Some say that these accidents are happening because of faulty construction work done during rapid development projects in Shinto. Either way, I hope there won't be any more victims.
I actually don't know what Shiro's part-time job is. That part never comes up in the animes.
It's a disturbing story. You need to be careful too.
We don't well, don't worry about that. I always make sure to check the gas is turned off properly. Twice.
Sakura proudly proclaims. No, that's not my point. Yep, I've always known Sakura's a little off, too.
A little? Did you lock the back door?
I bolted it. Is that a problem?
Not at all. Then I'll lock all the doors. Tell me, you planning to be home today?
I think I'll be home a little late. What about you, Sakura?
Should be back at the usual time. Think I'll be back before you, so I'll make preparations for dinner.
Yeah, that'll be great. I'll try to come home as soon as possible, too. The gate is locked tight. Sakura and Fujine both have keys to the house, and the rule is that whoever leaves last is in charge of locking everything up. Let's go. You'll be late for morning practice if you don't hurry.
Okay, then let's hurry then.
Sakura and I walk into town. We walk downhill along a long wall to reach a more populated residential area. The Emiya house is located at the top of a hill, away from the center of town. Heading down the hill leads us into the residential area. Going further down, we reach the intersection at the center of town. Several roads lead out from the center of town. There's a large bridge that connects to the neighboring town, a hill that leads to Ryodo Temple, a residential area located opposite my house, a shopping district that both Sakura and I often go to, and finally, there's a path that leads to our school. We head straight to school without taking any detours. It's barely 7 o'clock, so there's hardly anyone around. Students making their way to their morning club activities are the only ones to be found along our route. See you later. Good luck at practice. I see Sakura off at the school gate as usual. Sakura's in the Kyoto Club, so this is where we usually split off. And yet, Sakura doesn't budge this morning. Sakura? Are you not feeling well or something?
No, it's not that. Maybe it's time you come visit the dojo?
Well, I don't really have any business at the dojo. Besides, Issei asked me to do something, so I need to go to the student council room.
Suppose you're right. Sorry for bringing it up.
Sakura quickly bows her head. Hmm?
I'll be going then. Please look forward to dinner tonight.
Sakura runs towards the dojo, seeming almost apologetic. What was that? I wonder what all that was about. I think we gave this guy to Min originally, right?
Yes.
Alright. Issei, are you in?
Yep, Min.
Is Min here?
Shit, I gotta pay attention again. Sorry, Mitty distracted me with thing.
Don't worry about it.
I'm a little worried about it now.
Don't worry about it. We're just discussing important girls' frontline things. Don't worry about it.
I see.
Yeah.
Understandable.
I'm here. You're a little late this morning, Emiya.
Issei glances up from the desk, looking like he's been studying some papers. It's just you, Issei? Where's the rest? They should all be at school by now.
Well, unfortunately, the rest of the members are all very on the clock. They'll have their set work hours, and they don't want to come in early or stay late.
So that's why the student council president is doing busy work himself. I guess you've got your own problems to deal with.
Well, I live for these sorts of problems. I don't need your sympathy, Amiya.
What are you talking about? I'm not sympathizing with you.
Well, that's too bad. I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that. After all, the fact of the matter is that you still care.
Issei, who is gathering his papers into a single sheaf and tapping the edge against the table to square them neatly, is the big boss of the student council. He's been working to reform the student council, which has grown quite lax, and he's been a friend of mine ever since our first year in school. His full name is Issei Ryoto. Despite his old-fashioned sounding name, he has elegant facial features, and he's popular with the girls. He's also the student council president, so you'd think he would have the leg up over everyone else, but that's not exactly the case.
Nothing beats a scalding hot cup of tea in the morning.
It's saying stuff like that as he sips tea that prevents him from quite sticking the landing. As evidenced, Issei is quite plain. He's prone to be misunderstood, yet he neither dabbles in relationships nor does what typical students do for fun. He's the heir of Ryoto Temple, which sits atop a mountain. I'm surprised a lot of these typos and errors haven't been fixed at this point, I'll be honest.
They tried to make it as
faithful as
possible.
Oh, Lord. He himself understands that he will inherit the temple, and there's a strong possibility that he'll shave his head without so much as a complaint as soon as he graduates from school. So, what do you want me to do today?
Well, I'd like to tell you to sit down and relax, but we really don't have time. I'll explain as we go, so grab your tools and follow me. Oh, let me get right to the point. Our school's spending habits are quite extreme.
I know. The athletic clubs are favored, and there's not much money to go around in other places.
Exactly. As a result, the culture clubs get the short end of the stick. I've been trying my best to establish a better budget for the arts, but the money trail has been pretty muddy, which is making my life harder, so the arts are suffering. The lack of heaters during the winter is especially concerning, and I have no solution for that.
I see. Hey, hand me the flathead screwdriver. The biggest one. Oh, and give me some conductors, too. Yeah, this one looks salvageable.
Conductors? These? Sorry, I don't really know my way around tools. You can get mad if I'm wrong.
It's fine, you got it right. So, what about the lack of heaters? Is there anything else that's broken?
Yes, the heating system in the second autovisual room and the art club room might be on its last leg. Forms requesting to purchase new ones are piling up by the minute.
And you're saying that there's no room in the budget. Well, this one's just corroded. Good thing the inside's still intact.
Oh? Is that one salvageable, Amiya?
Yeah, I can fix it. It's a good thing old machines are easy to figure out. The wires are just burnt out, so as long as those get replaced, this should last until the end of the year.
Is that so? Way to go, Amiya. I'm glad you're so reliable and helpful.
You say some weird stuff, Issei. Oh, hey. I'm almost done, so go ahead and step out.
Got it. I won't get in your way.
Issei quietly steps out of the classroom. You might be thinking that I'm going to start on some sensitive work. Well, I guess you can call it sensitive work. I put my hand to the old electric stove. No matter how long someone's been fixing things, they can't usually figure out what's wrong by sight. So the fact that I can means what I'm doing is not ordinary. I close my eyes and look inside the stove by touch, and then suddenly, a single image pops into my head. There are 2 places where the wire is about to break. The electrical pipes should last a bit longer. Power cord should be fine with just insulation tape. Good. I should be able to fix it with just the tools I brought along. If the electrical pipes were broken, it wouldn't be fixable by an amateur. Had that been the case, a certain strengthening would have to be done, which no amateur could manage, but I should be able to fix this one by sight. This is the Magecraft Kiritsugu. What? Why do I constantly want to say Kiritsugi? What? That's gotta be a name of someone else, and I don't remember who. Kiritsugu taught me. Jesus. Okay, let's begin. I take off the cover to begin the repairs. I already know where it's broken, so the rest of the work is easy. This is one thing that I'm good at. That's right. I, Shiro Emiya, have absolutely no talent in Magecraft. But for some reason, I have a knack for visualizing the structure of things, or blueprints, like I did just now. My old man once saw me imagine and recreate a blueprint. He looked surprised, then muttered, "What a useless talent." My special talent appears to be pointless. According to my old man, the fact that I can visualize object structures isn't really helpful. A mage normally wouldn't need to survey an object's entire structure like I do. He claims the mage's struggle is to instantly seek out an object's center, or its core, and transform it as quickly as possible. That's why reading blueprints is a waste of time, and even that only helps seek out areas for magical energy to pass through. And so, fixing broken stuff is one of the only things I'm good at. After all, I don't have to open the entire thing up to find the problem. If I can find the problem quickly, I can fix most things as long as I have the know-how to repair it. Though I only do that with things an amateur could reasonably be expected to fix. Okay, done. What's next? I put away the conductors, pick up the screwdriver and wrench, and head out into the hallway. Issei, repairs are done. Oh, hey. A female student is standing next to Issei in the hallway. I'm a little surprised. The girl talking to Issei is Rin Tosaka, a second year from Class A. She lives in a giant Western-style mansion up on a big hill, and she's an extraordinary honor student. She's pretty, smart, athletic, no flaws at all. She's intelligent and polite, and she never brags about her looks. She's truly the ideal girl to us guys, apparently. Which is why the male students treat her like an idol. But Tosaka is just too good, and she's become unattainable. The guys all say the only people who can talk to Tosaka are Issei and the teachers. Well, okay, I'm also a guy, and I'm including myself in the list of her admirers. Tosaka is looking at us, annoyed. I guess rumors are true that Issei and Tosaka don't get along.
That's Min.
Yep.
Oh, sorry. I was the one who asked you for a favor, made you do all the work. Forgive me.
Whoa. Issei's pretty gutsy, talking to me and completely ignoring Tosaka like that. Don't worry about it. So what's next? There's not much time.
Yeah, next is the audio-visual. It's been on its last leg for a while, but apparently it's finally given out.
If it's dead, I won't be able to fix it. It might be better to buy a new one.
That might be true, but I'd appreciate it if you took a look at it anyway. I might think it's dead, but it might just be playing dead to you.
You think so? And let me take a look. There's only about 30 minutes until homeroom starts. I'll need to hurry and fix it or I'll run out of time. I head to the audio-visual room, but I realize completely ignoring Tosaka would be rude. I turn to face her, since she's been standing there the whole time. You're here early, Tosaka. I blurt out the first thing that comes to mind and follow Issei.
I love how it's just the exact scene from earlier.
Mm-hmm. No, that's one of the things I actually really love about the way they did this.
Yeah.
You made it just in time. Sorry for all the trouble, Amiya. I'm a bad friend for asking a favor from you, making you late for class.
Don't sweat it. It won't be a problem if I'm late, where it might be an issue if you were late.
That's true, but I'm glad we made it.
Issei exhales a sigh of relief and heads to his desk. It's exactly 8 o'clock. 5 minutes after the bell for homeroom rings, Fujine will enter the classroom. Ooh. My breathing is labored since I ran from the audiovisual room. I take a deep breath before I take my seat. Oh god. Pokemon, can you take him over for now?
What's with all the commotion so early in the morning, Emiya? Didn't realize you became Ryoto's whipping boy after you quit our club. Not that I care, but since you have no principles of your own, don't do anything to ruin our rep.
Ah. Standing in front of my desk is Shinji Matoo. He's been a friend of mine ever since middle school. His last name is Matoo, and he's Sakura's older brother. He's 1 year older than her. Yo, things at the Kyoto Club going well, Shinji?
Of course. There's no point in telling an outsider like you. I'm immediately changing his voice because I have a better. But the club's nice and peaceful now that there's one less member trying to hog all the attention. Definitely going to make waves at the next tournament.
Is that so? I guess Mitsuzuri is working really hard.
Huh? What the hell are you talking about? I'm the only reason the Kyoto Club is is setting records. You've been an outsider for a long time, so stop acting like you know it all, or you're going to embarrass yourself.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Besides, I'm not involved with the club, so I won't really concern myself with it that much. I put my bag on my desk and pull the chair back.
Welcome back, Neo. It's been too long.
Yep. What's that supposed to mean? Are you saying my Kyoto Club's boring to you?
I'm not saying that, just that I'm not involved at all. And I'm not a part of the club anymore, so it's not right for me to just drop into the dojo. But if there's anything you need, just let me know. I'll help whenever you need it. I remember you weren't good at fixing and stringing bows.
Yeah, thanks. I'll give you a call if there's ever chores to be done. Though I doubt that'll ever happen.
Well, that's good. The captain who leaves busy work behind wouldn't be much of a captain. Just try not to trouble Miss Fujimura. She's terrifying if she gets mad.
Mind your own business. Just remember that you're not a member of the club anymore, so don't go near the dojo.
And just like that, Shinji heads off to his seat, all self-important bluster as ever. Huh, he does seem moodier than usual.
Unbelievable. How can he talk to you like that? He was the one who kicked you out.
Oh, Issei. Were you there the whole time?
What do you mean? How can you be so cold to me when I was listening attentively to the conversation out of concern for my friend?
Huh? What does concern have to do with it? I haven't done anything worth worrying about.
Fool, of course I'm concerned. You have a short fuse. Now, granted, if you punched Shinji, that would have gotten you some applause, but it probably wouldn't make the girls happy. Wouldn't be right for me to put my friend in such an unpleasant position.
I get it. Yeah, good point. Thanks, Issei. I don't think that would ever happen, but I appreciate the concern.
Good, as long as you understand. But I was surprised. You usually get mad at the drop of a hat, but you're pretty tolerant with Matoo.
Yeah, but Shinji's been like that for as long as I've known him. You get used to it.
I guess that's how it is.
It is. Come on. Now, come on. Go back to your desk if you're satisfied. It's almost time for Miss Fujimura to dash in.
More like float in.
The bell to start homeroom rings. Normally, the homeroom teacher comes into classroom 5 minutes before homeroom starts, but our teacher isn't what you'd call typical. Homeroom for Class 2C typically starts 1 minute after the starting bell. In other words...
I'm late!
Homeroom starts with the sounds of Fujine's shouts and hurried footsteps.
Okay, I made it. Good morning,
Gonk. Fujine tumbles and I hear some kind of unnatural sound.
Dead.
Contrary to the heretic sounds of a few seconds earlier, the classroom is now dead silent. The mood shifts up sharply. It's no wonder Fujine is called a human roller coaster. But honestly, the way she fell didn't seem like a laughing matter. Fujine hit her head against the podium, and she's still lying on the floor. Seeing her lying there face down and unmoving has everyone imagining the worst. Hey, someone up front, wake her up.
No, I don't want to. She'll probably, like, bite me or something if I get too close.
She's not a mimic. Fujimura wouldn't do that.
Does she contain a grimoire?
Maybe.
No, but she is a tiger.
That's true. Also, I think that was the main character again.
Well, why don't you wake her up then? Also,
Cass.
Mitty, I saw that there.
Cass,
I
I
think I
hate
didn't
this
see
stuff
that.
like this.
I don't have many lines right now.
See that?
I don't have many lines right now.
What's going on?
She opened up,
Bad decisions.
she opened up a game.
Filatro, thank you very much.
Yeah. I didn't catch the game, but yeah.
She's gonna go.
Yep, it's
meandering.
Filatro.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, Pokemon.
Was it Pokemon or was this me?
Pokemon.
No.
Nope,
Right now?
that's the girl.
I don't like it either. You were going to make a girl to do it? The boy should step up and take control.
The students at the front row start to get rowdy. Those of us sitting in the middle rows can't see what's going on, so we all stand up to get a look. Hey, she's not moving. Did she faint? Someone brings up the obvious. But the problem is, how would we get Fujine back to the infirmary? We're all, like, comrades in arms after our time dealing with Fujine. Probably no one's thrilled at the idea of taking a teacher to the infirmary.
Miss Fujimura, are you okay?
A brave girl approaches. Fujine isn't moving. The class grows more concerned.
That didn't look good. Her head literally slammed into the corner of the podium. If that didn't hurt her, she really is invincible.
Maybe we can recruit her for the baseball team?
That's more like a threat. The moment the Tiger becomes the head of the baseball team, we're all bound for the big Koshian tournament.
Yep, you got it.
Miss Fujimura. Miss Fujimura. It's no use, she's not responding.
Hey, you're right next to her. Wake her up.
What? I don't want to. If she's dead, I'll be as good as dead too.
Things could get worse if we just leave her.
But nobody wants to go near her. Fine. Then we have no choice to go with our last resort.
Yeah, that.
Everyone's on the same page. Except Shinji and I. We keep quiet because the two of us dared to not be a part of what is about to happen. Ready? Wake up, Tiger! It comes out as a whisper, even with so many students speaking in unison. The word tiger is especially inaudible. And yet... Twitch. Fujine's previously motionless body reacts.
Oh,
She moved. This might be working, everyone.
Keep going.
It's the punishment of the tiger. Everyone must be on edge since midterm tests are approaching. It's a terrible idea on their part, but some students start to wave their arms and chant Fujine's nickname. Wake up, Tiger! It's morning!
You need to tiger up!
Don't give in, Tiger. Stand up, Tiger.
Come on, wake up! Time to wake the sleeping tiger. Tiger! Everyone.
Ah! Don't call me Tiger!
Like a sudden bolt of lightning striking, Fujine stands valiantly, as if the fall hardly scratched her.
Huh? What are you all doing? You guys shouldn't get out of your seats during homeroom. Come on, get back to your seats and we'll begin.
Fujine, back to her normal self, stands at the podium. It appears she's recalled nothing between the time she jumped into the classroom and the time she woke up.
Hey, Tiger doesn't remember anything.
Sweet. We're lucky this morning.
I don't know if you can call this luck, honestly.
The students shuffle back to their desks.
Huh? Did someone just mock me?
No, absolutely not. Must be your imagination.
Really? Then okay. We're going to start morning homeroom, so everyone listen up.
Fujine casually starts homeroom. She always goes on digressions between announcements, so it goes slowly.
Which is why everyone should go home at an appropriate hour. The gates close at 6, so everyone doing club activities shouldn't stay any longer than necessary.
6 is
Six is so early. Taiga. Don't the athletic clubs get an exception?
Oh my god. They will not. And Goto, you'd better call me Miss Fujimura. Next time you call me by my first name, I'll get mad, okay?
Yes, ma'am. I'll be careful next time.
Goto sits back down. He doesn't seem particularly remorseful. Too easy. When Fujine says she gets mad, she gets mad. Doesn't matter if it's with a teacher or a student. And that is as close to a serious warning as she's ever going to give. But Goto doesn't realize it.
That's it for today's homeroom announcements. I'll see you all at third period's English class.
Fujine
No,
waves and
she
leaves.
doesn't. If she doesn't want people to call her Tiger, she shouldn't wear stripes.
I know, right? So that was Taiga Fujimura, the teacher of room 2C. Her nickname, Tiger. That might seem like a joke, but it isn't. She got the nickname because it sounds like her name, Taiga, but Fujine hates it. According to her, it doesn't sound feminine. But she got the nickname because of how she acts, so she kind of had it coming.
This is Kurt.
Oh yeah, this is me, that's right. Oh god. I forget.
Delta voice.
Delta.
Class will begin. Class duty, lead the greeting. As Fujine exits the room, the first period teacher enters. Because Fujine takes up almost all the homeroom time, mornings are always like this for our class. And so another day of classes ends. There are many types of students. Some immerse themselves in club activities, some hurry home, and some hang out in the classroom after class for no particular reason. I don't really fit into any of those categories.
Do you have a minute, Mia? Picking back up with what we did this morning. Do you have some more time?
Well, it's not like I don't have any plans. It's not as if I don't have... it's not as if I don't do anything at all. The biggest reason I quit the Kyoto Club in the first place was that I wanted to prioritize my part-time job. It's
It's been 5 years since I started part-time jobs to earn money for living expenses on my own after my old man died. And when you do so many different jobs, there are some requests you just can't say no to. Today is one of them. I was asked to help restock some product for a bar, since they wanted as many strong helping hands as they could get. Though I'm sure I don't have to go help. The bar is likely asking everyone as an excuse to gather some folks and hang out afterwards. There are 2 options. I should...
Well, Pokemon just said he hadn't seen the part-time job, so... Later, nerd!
Yeah. You know what? Sure.
I feel bad for Issei, but I should probably prioritize my part-time job. I never promised I would go, but since I'd said I'd try, I should probably keep my word. Sorry, Issei. I have plans already. So, can I get a rain check on this morning's tasks?
Plans? Oh, in your part-time job. Yeah, sorry for troubling you. A couple of days won't make any difference, so go ahead and head to your other commitment.
Thanks. I'll get to those tasks first thing in the morning, so please let me off the hook this time.
I thought I said this wasn't a serious issue. I got the urgent stuff done this morning. You can finish up the rest whenever you're free, Amiya.
If you say so. Is it okay if I pick up where I left off whenever I don't have work?
Certainly. I'll be counting on you when that time comes, Amiya.
Issei bids me a stiff farewell and leaves the classroom. Okay, then. I shouldn't dawdle. I may not have been given the specific time, but now that I've decided to go to my part-time job, I need to hurry over to the neighboring town. Jeez. Thought I was going to help out just a little, but they gave me 30,000 yen. It's like an unexpected windfall, or a stroke of good luck. Damn, $300 just for showing up to work. That's pretty rad. Copenhagen, where I work today, is like a bar and a supermarket that sells liquor all in one, and takes a lot of people to restock. And it takes a lot of people to restock inventory for this place. It's a job that needs at least 5 people, but the more people you have after that makes everyone's lives easier.
I'm sorry, the fact that I read Copenhagen from a Japanese game just kind of punched me in the face.
Yeah,
I mean, I know that there's German in the game too, but like...
True.
I mean, Rin says her spells in German, so I guess it's really not surprising that there's a German liquor store.
I mean, this entire city is also split into, like, a western half and an eastern half as well, so, like...
Yeah, I don't know, I didn't expect... This isn't part of frickin'... This isn't part of Fuyuki. This is...
the neighboring town.
Yeah.
Either way. Yet the boss is always like,
anyone who can help, just swing by.
he mentioned it so casually to the part-time workers that seemed to just think it was enough. But I'm the only one who showed up, and the only people there for inventory were me, the boss, and Neko, his daughter. All hell broke loose.
God, for fucking inventory? Disgusting.
Sai, do you want this one?
No, I'm sorry. I'm
Oh,
kind of out of
it's all
breath right
good.
now.
You dummy, of course no one would come. Neko was scolding the boss, yet I was the only fool who came, ready to be sacrificed. The 2 of them unenthusiastically applauded when I showed up, and then all decided to organize the storage room as much as possible. And then, we somehow finished the inventory in 2 hours.
This is amazing.
Going for the extra brownie points or something, Shiro? The boss remarks as he eats a brown cake and surveys the afternoon's work. Not exactly. I'm just used to manual labor, and I've been working here long enough that I know where most things go in the storage room. I haven't been working here since I was young for nothing, you know.
Oh yeah?
How long has it been already, Shiro? 5 years? Something like that. You were one of the only places that hired me soon after my old man died.
That's so. No wonder I feel so old.
The boss stuffs his mouth with rum cake. Next to him, Neko is nursing a bottle of warm sake. The owner has a sweet tooth, while the daughter is a drinker of the family. They sure balance each other out well. But honestly, you really helped us out. I feel bad if all you got from your hard work was just a few slices of cake, so here's a little something from me. He waves 3 on 10,000 yen bills at me. It's more than I'd get for a week's worth of labor, not 3 hours. Oh, thanks. I hesitate, but I take whatever I can get. Just as I'm about to leave Copenhagen. Hold up, Emien. Who did you hear about today's job from? Neko stops me while she is curled up in front of the heater, resting. I think it was Furumi? That idiot should know better than to push his own work into a student. Well, whatever. So you're saying you came to help stock inventory even though you only heard about it secondhand? Well, I was told to help if I wasn't busy. Furumi's a dumbass, but you're no better, you know? Whatever. I bet you're the kind of person who can never say no. I know. Remember that one time you watched the store when Dad and I both got sick? Huh? That's not true. I won't do things for people when I know I can't. I only do things I know I'm able to. That right, huh? I seem to recall you were sick that day, too. Whatever. Anyway, my point is that you're a good boy, but kinda dumb, which leaves me a little worried about you, so tell Fujimura to swing by soon, 'cause I got beef with her. Neko makes circles with her fingers in the air as soon as she downs her sake. She seems to think I'm a dragonfly or something. Okay. So just tell Fujine that. Yep, see ya. Try not to push yourself too hard, boy. Whoa, I've already crossed the bridge. Managed to walk back from the neighboring Shinto to Miyama without realizing it. I walk through the still darkened town. It's about 7:30. There should still be people out and about at this hour, but there are no signs of anyone around. Oh, right. There was a crime committed in Miyama the other day. A burglar murdered someone, I think. It must be why there's no one around, and why the school curfew has been set to 6 o'clock. Gas leaks and burglars, huh? Seems like it's getting dangerous around here. No wonder people are avoiding walking around at night. It's probably not safe to let Sakura go home on her own anymore. Fujine might be fine, but Sakura's house is in the residential area on the other side of town. I guess I should walk her home, starting to not... Huh? I can't quite believe what I'm seeing. I must be wrong. I sense a presence on the uphill path. I was sure it was empty. Whoever it is, they're standing still and look to be peering down at me.
Oh, it's
Unconsciously,
her.
I hold my breath. I'm sure it's nothing. A girl with silvery hair smiles and walks down the path without making a sound. And as she passes by...
You'd better summon one soon, or you'll die, big brother.
What she says makes no sense. I climb up the hill and reach my house. The lights are already on, which means Sakura and Fujine are home. The moment I step into the living room, I smell the delicious aroma of dinner. Sakura and Fujine are both eating at the table. Tonight's meal is chicken stewed in cream sauce, and it's put Fujine in an especially good mood.
Welcome home. Please excuse us for eating ahead of you.
Thanks, and sorry for being late. I should have come home earlier.
That's fine. You still made it in time. Please wait while I prepare your plate.
Okay, thanks. I'll go wash up, so keep an eye on Fujine to make sure she doesn't eat my portion.
Yes, I'll do that.
I go to my room. It's a sparse room compared to the storehouse, but it's still decorated enough, considering I don't have any particular hobbies. Though most of them are random things Fujine just left here. After I wash my hands and change, I head back to see my food on the table. Thank you for the meal.
The time is punching me in the face.
Please dig in. I hope you like it.
Sakura is humble as ever. Sakura's cooking skills have vastly improved over the past year. My cooking is no match for her Western foods. My Japanese dishes might be a little better. Neither of us is any good at making Chinese dishes. I'm glad to know she's improving, but it's also a little depressing when the pupil surpasses her master. Really is delicious. The longer you cook chicken, the tougher the meat gets, which is why you need to take extra step of grilling the chicken to a crisp to seal in its juices and flavor. This requires exceptional skill, and it's something the clumsy Fujine would never be able to manage.
What do you think, Senpai? Today's dish turned out quite well.
No complaints here. The cream sauce is perfect. My cooking can't hold a candle to your Western dishes. That's Taiga.
Oh, that's tight.
Yep. Ever since Sakura started cooking, all her meat dishes have gotten better.
Fujine, who's been concentrating on her own meal until now, pipes up.
And you're in trouble, Shiro. A student shouldn't stay out so late at night.
She looked to be in good spirits thanks to Sakura's meal, but the moment she sees my face, her mood turns sour.
I bet you were helping someone again. That's fine, but you really should be coming home early for now. Don't you remember my homeroom announcement about how it's not been safe lately? I was speaking directly to you, Shiro.
You don't need to make a homeroom announcement for something you can just tell me at home.
This could have been an email.
You wouldn't listen if I told you here, though. You're more likely to listen if I tell you at school.
Clearly not.
You never check your Discord.
Do your checks.
Sakura.
Curb.
Look.
Do your archipelago checks, Curb.
Really need to shape up, man.
Hey-oh. Anyways, that's Sakura.
It seems like an abuse of authority, or at least mixing business with private matters.
Nope. This is just what I have to do to make things sink in for Shiro. He always gets the short end of the stick because he's busy helping everyone. That idiot should come straight home once in a while and relax a bit.
Huh? Who are you calling an idiot? What's wrong with helping people? I'm not losing out on anything as long as someone benefits from my help.
You're starting to sound like Kiritsugu. And that mindset has your big sister worried, Shiro.
Seeing Fujine eating so heartily makes me wonder what exactly she's worried about.
Miss Fujimura, just from that conversation, are you saying he's always been like this?
Yep, always. He's the type who would lend a hand whenever there's someone in need. It's not that he meddles in things, but he's always been a bit precocious.
Yeah. Fujine grins menacingly. Fujine, I'm gonna get mad if you say anything you shouldn't. You shouldn't ask such silly questions, Sakura. I glare at the two. Fujine clicks her tongue in disapproval, but...
Miss Fujimura, please continue.
Sakura presses on, like an attentive student. Also, I just noticed the fucking tiger mug.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's not meeting the allegations.
She's doing a better job than Typhlosion.
Stop calling me Tiger.
Oh my
Make her
word.
entire personality around tigers.
Pokemon, I fucking hate you.
I regret nothing.
Then let me explain. You see, Shiro just can't help himself when he sees someone in need. It's like helping the weak and subduing the strong. When he was younger, he wrote an essay that said he wanted to be a hero of justice.
Quit bringing up the past, Fujine. I can't really jump in, though, because it's true. Besides, becoming a hero of justice is still my goal.
Wow, you were a really wonderful child, Senpai.
Yep, it was astonishing. He would swoop in to rescue a little girl from getting bullied by a boy twice her age. And he tried his hardest at doing housework because Kiritsugu was such a slob at home. Oh, he was so cute and innocent back then. I'm not sure how he got to be the stubborn, disobedient boy he is today.
That's on you, Fujine. That's what happens with children when they have bad role models. If you want to say something to that, try making an entire meal on your own.
What?
Fujine is shocked. I thought she would just lower her head and repent, but...
Big sister's so sad. Sakura, thirds, please.
She holds out a rice bowl, asking for a third helping of dinner. Absolute gremlin energy. We relax after dinner, and it's almost 9 o'clock. What should I do? There's still some time before my evening training. I guess I'll...
Just pass the fuck out.
Yeah, let's just pass the fuck out. Why not? I think we could actually probably leave it there for now, honestly.
Yeah, let's pass the fuck out.
Let's pass the fuck out. Good work once again. Alright.
Let's
So,
look at that flow chart real quick.
we're finally in, guys! We're finally in the main game. Oh my god.
Yeah.
This is gonna get ridiculous, isn't it?
A little bit.
Alright, well, we'll figure that out as we get to it.
I'll be completely honest, we are doing this faster than I expected. I expected us to be at this point by stream 3 initially.
Damn.
I mean, we're making up for lost time.
Yeah.
Also, to be fair, I'm trying to push this stream back to its original starting point, which was at 8 my time. But
yeah.
we'll see how long that lasts. Because like the longer we have, the more we can do in a sitting. But
Yeah.
all the same, thank you all so very much for stopping by. Take care of yourselves, and we'll catch you in the next stream.